Championship Television.
We ring in the new year with a Cinderella story. A Longhorn stampede out west and the defending champs against the best of the Big Ten. In a primetime fiesta, the undefeated Utah Utes, the first mid-major to crash the BCS, look to celebrate their dream season with a win over the Pittsburgh Panthers, champions of the Big East. Later today in the Rose Bowl game, the Longhorns of Texas, led by hard-charging senior Cedric Benson, make their BCS debut in the granddaddy of them all. Their opponent, the co-Big Ten champion Michigan Wolverines, led by a pair of party-crashing freshmen. But up next on the dance card is the Capital One Bowl, where the Nick Saban-built defending national champion LSU Tigers battle the other co-Big Ten champions, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and their hard-hitting defense led by senior Matt Roth. Get ready to pop the champagne, because the greatest New Year's Day tradition of them all, a triple header of college football on ABC Sports, is about to begin. Happy New Year to each and every one of you, and what a way to start off 2005. We're here in sunny Southern California. The Michigan fans are ready to take on Texas. Hard to believe those teams have never met. Texas has never played in the Rose Bowl. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. That one is coming up, but we start things off with a Capital One Bowl. LSU, Nick Saban, his final game as head coach at LSU as he takes on Iowa.
You know what? Drew Tate, they ought to give this guy an extra trophy just for getting his football team there. This was an offense that could not run the football. 75 yards a game on the ground, which is terrible, the worst in school history. But Tate put him on his shoulders. He carried them to the Capital One Bowl, so congratulations to Tate.
Yeah, and both of these teams, guys, I like a good backstory, and both of these teams had to come from nowhere. LSU had to come over early season quarterback problems, and Iowa having to overcome the running back problems. Both of these teams, there is no quit in these teams. They never say die, and lo and behold, here they are in the Capital One Bowl game. Two very good defensive teams, and I think that is definitely a distinction and reflection on Nick Saban and Kurt Ferentz.
Co-Big Ten champs in back-to-back games. Iowa first, followed by Michigan as well. Let's check some other scores. Games underway already. Georgia with a lead over Wisconsin 10-6. David Green has a touchdown pass in that game. Tennessee is blowing out Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. Rick Clausen has 3 touchdown passes. Florida State scored early on West Virginia. The Mountaineers have come back. It is now 10-6. Leon Washington has the touchdown run for Florida State. We, of course, will see you again at halftime. Right now, let's go to Orlando and Gary Thorne. And Gary, Happy New Year.
John, thanks very much, and a Happy New Year to you, and welcome to the Capital One Bowl. We are in Orlando, Florida. LSU, for the last time, plays as the defending national champion. Iowa, the co-Big Ten champ, goes at it here. We're delighted to have you with us. Happy New Year, everybody. Along with Ed Cunningham, I'm Gary Thorne. A delight for you to join us. 78-degree weather, just beautiful here in Orlando. 2005, we begin where it always begins. Nothing changes. Quarterbacks.
Why would you change anything now? And the two quarterbacks we're going to see today, both very athletic guys. For LSU, it's the senior Marcus Randall. Earlier in the year, they rotated the freshman Jamarcus Russell in, but Randall, in the words of his head coach, Nick Saban, now carries himself as a starting quarterback, and he looked fantastic in the last regular season game against Arkansas. Was very accurate, and he is a very physical runner. Now let's go back a little ways for Iowa in a loss to Michigan. Sophomore Drew Tate on this play, it meant nothing. It was an incomplete pass. But that is what this Iowa team needed with its lack of running game. They needed a leader, and they found it in Drew Tate.
And those two quarterbacks are ready to go, and so are we. A big bowl day, obviously. We will have the story of a coach who's not coming back at LSU. And for Iowa, the chance to beat that coach here today. Coin toss coming up. Welcome back, everybody, and participating in today's coin toss, William McDonald, Executive Vice President, Brand Management for Capital One, sponsors of our Capital One Bowl here in Orlando. And Iowa has won the toss, and they have decided to receive. Some things change in the new year, but not our on-field man. Dr. Jerry Punch, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Gary, and Happy New Year, everyone. You know, as if preparing for a New Year's Day bowl game against a Big Ten co-champion weren't difficult enough, imagine the distraction of having your head coach courted by a major NFL franchise. But through it all, Nick Saban's very, very open and honest with his players. In fact, after he told the team of his decision on Christmas night, several seniors stood up in a players-only meeting and guys said it's just this simple. He's still our coach. We still have one game left to play, and if we maintain our focus, we can all go out a winner. Now, as for who will be the next LSU head coach, in just a few moments, we're going to tell you what we know and what we think is going to happen. Gary?
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Obviously, that has been a story that Saban has tried to keep under the line. He wants this game to be about his players, named the Miami Dolphins head coach on Christmas Day, and then told his players first. We'll talk about that and who may succeed.
And he was the guy that right up front, of course, he knows Kirk Ferentz. They coached together in the NFL under Bill Belichick, but was right up front with his players, and that's the only way you could handle that.
Kirk Ferentz, we'll talk about his relationship with Saban over the years. He has had a tremendous career already at Iowa.
Already the Big Ten Coach of the Year, the last 3 years. He was named again this year. In my opinion, the Coach of the Year across the country. We'll get into what him and his staff had to go through with injuries and problems off of the field. It's absolutely amazing that they are playing on January 1st.
We will have Walter Bellis and Damian Sims deep for Iowa. Chris Jackson will do the kicking for LSU. Iowa in the dark jerseys with the gold pants. They're receiving up to the 15-20. Big break up near the 30-yard line. Walter Bellis, who has not been a return kickoff man for parts of the season, earned the job at the end of it, and a good return to start this game out. Let's take a look at the starting quarterback. We're going to see, and what a story he has been. Drew Tate, first year as a starter out of Texas, has been magnificent.
And he was a guy that last year they played a little bit as a true freshman. He's not that tall. He is very active, and the key for him is when he scrambles, he's not scrambling to run. He's scrambling to throw. LSU's going to have to stay home.
He will pass a lot. That is their primary first down play that's going to go incomplete right there to Ed Hinkle. Their first down running game has put the ball in the air. Our Capital One starting lineups. Take a look at the backs and receivers. Brownlee, if they run, will probably be the one.
And let's see if Ed Hinkle picks up where he left off in 04 with a couple of one-handed catches in this ballgame.
And for the offensive line, their test is going to be to provide passing protection.
And Brian Ferentz, a guy who almost lost his right leg to a staph infection back in, he adds a lot of toughness to this front.
That is Brownlee, who will carry it up to about the 34-yard line. Now, this team will not run the football very much at all. It'll be 60, 70 or more % of the time putting the ball in the air. So that is not going to be a secret to the LSU Tigers. They know that's what they can look at. Brownlee coming out. It'll be another passing situation here as we get our first third down play for Tate. And Tate will have Aaron Mickens in the backfield. He and Tom Bush will be rotating in and out of that backfield today. Two receivers set to the left side. Slot man will move back into the backfield in motion. They work out of the shotgun. Tate very deep, looking, big rush, drops it off to the 40. First down marker is right there. Hinkle, the receiver. The wide receiver out of Erie, Pennsylvania, who led this team with 7 TD receptions.
I don't think he got it. The official, as he came in to mark the spot, was bumped by an LSU player, and it actually altered his spot just a little bit, but I still don't think it was enough. A really good job coming up from the safety spot, Jesse Daniels, and that was a bit of a zone blitz. That was, you don't get to see Kyle Williams, the defensive tackle, out covering a wide receiver very often.
They are going to bring the chains in from the short side to see whether or not they got that third down, first down, a gain of 9 or 10. Oh, boy, that is close.
And
it is.
You know, the official came in from the side, Gary, and as he was walking, a couple of LSU players, he had to walk around them. He went further down the field, and I don't think he realized he missed where his foot was originally, because his original foot was about 2 or 3 feet short of that first down.
Coach Ferentz doesn't mind that
no,
at all.
not at all.
No, he'll take that. So Iowa gets the first down, a first down and 10. Ball at the 41-yard line. Tate, who started all of the games for Iowa at quarterback, has Brownlee again working in the backfield. They'll send that man in motion. Tate loves to scramble. Looks like he's changing it up here. Marcus Simmons in the backfield. Simmons on the carry to the 40, and Simmons will go out of bounds at about the 45. And anytime Iowa can go 3 or better in yardage rushing, they will take it. Defensively, knowing they've got to get to the quarterback, that's the job of the line.
And Marcus Spears coming to an NFL city near you very soon. He'll be a first-round pick.
Take a look at their linebackers. Hodge and Green are going to be back next year.
And Turner, the guy who everyone will remember, has made the sack to end the game in the Sugar Bowl last year.
And there you see the secondary that will be tested with a lot of passes.
And Corey Webster, like a lot of guys we'll see today and talk about, changed positions early in his career, was a wide receiver, now a two-time All-American at cornerback.
Mickens is back there. It's going to be a 2nd down and 7. Again, you see Tate hollering out instructions. Tate on the handoff, and that's not going to go very far. And that is a big line that's tough to run against. Kyle Williams moved in and put the hit on a junior, 6'2", 295.
Well, there's just a little bit of miscommunication between the right guard and the center. Williams, very active. He's lined up right here. He's just going to slip on the backside. Watching tape of this guy, he's not the biggest guy, 6'1", about 290. He is so active in the middle. He just never stops. One of those short-arm guys. He's not going to be great, but 6 sacks on the year, very active.
This Iowa team comes in with a 7-game win streak. They lost a yard on that one. It'll be a 3rd down and 8. 3 receivers come to the near side with a slot set. Quick release over the middle of midfield, complete 40. This is going to go all the way. Touchdown, Quentin Solomon. $57 yards.
Inside against Corey Webster. Webster does not have safety help. That is a tactical error by Webster. There was a safety came down to get a blitz look. Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, said, we can't blitz a lot because they'll make us pay. That time, Corey Webster, he's got to know where his help is or is not.
Flecker up, puts the extra point up, and how about this? Iowa, who is worried about their offense. Solomon, their leading receiver in yards per game, gets his 6th touchdown of the season on their first drive. 6 plays, 69 yards, and Iowa is on the board. When we come back, we'll take a look at the offense of the Tigers of LSU, who find themselves down early, 7-zip. Touchdown pass 19 for Drew Tate, our Chevrolet drive summary. How about that to start a football game? The Capital One Bowl, no less. 69 on 6, and it only took 218.
And Clinton Solomon, 4 100-yard games. You know, every year Iowa has a guy like that you don't expect to have big games. Solomon has been their most consistent big play receiver all season.
Skylar Green is back for the Tigers of LSU. And a dive back there with him. That'll be taken in the end zone to the 5-10. Got some room. 20. Tripped up with, just got him on the shoelaces. And that is McQuan Dawkins, who was able to put that hit on the dive with a good run back.
As LaRon Landry, the safety, comes down, Corey Webster, who's a senior, he just has to know that he has to have inside technique on Solomon. This is a great throw. That's the one thing Drew Tate does very well. When he sees it, the ball is gone. Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator, said we actually have to slow him down sometimes on his read. That time, get it out as quickly as possible when you see the cornerback set outside.
Marcus Randall, the quarterback, 2 setbacks. Broussard about the 23-yard line on the carry out of the backfield with Matt Roth. And if he has a day, you're going to hear a lot about number 31. That is an all Big Ten. There's Marcus Randall. They've rotated quarterbacks. He right now playing his best of the year.
And it was the confidence growth of Randall midway through the season as this team was finding some identity. He had 2 games in a row that he threw touchdown passes on nearly the last play of the game to win it in the 4th quarter against Troy and Florida, and that started the 6-game winning streak.
Loss of 1 on that last play. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 11, and they want a timeout, so LSU not happy with a set offensive set they had with what they were looking at, and they'll use a timeout here before they run their 2nd play of the football game and Randall over to the sidelines. Great to have you with us here in Orlando, and a very big crowd on hand on a beautiful 78-degree winter day in Orlando.
The Capital One Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive presentation brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Cooper Tires. Confidence, performance, mileage. Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing. Pacific Life, offering insurance, annuities, and investments. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Chevy, an American revolution, supercharged for 2005.
Today's aerial camera facilities provided by Capital One. Full house on hand here in our Capital One Bowl. In fact, they added seats in one of the end zones that were not here. There's Nick Saban, future head coach of the Miami Dolphins, starting tomorrow. His last game, obviously, here. His national champions of last year. Final chance, almost high. Randall hauls it down, carries himself, and he'll take it up to about the 29-yard line. Marcus Randall, the senior, on a high snap. Let's take a look at our offense. Offensively, it's brought to you by Capital One. We will hear a lot from a lot of runners today.
And the big one is Ali Broussard, 233 pounds. He said, I don't have time to juke people. I like to run them over.
Take a look at the offensive line. They are good.
A lot of guys moving around. They finally settled in. Whitworth was the only guy who started every game at the same position. First team All-SEC.
3rd down and 5. First third down play. 43% regular season conversion rate over the middle, complete at the 35-yard line. Then backwards a step. And the question is how far backwards he went. Skylar Green caught the ball and had a first down. But he tried to turn it upfield going back a step and may have taken himself out of the first down.
Well, and Norm Parker got caught in his base defense there. Chad Greenway, the outside linebacker, a great player, first team All-Big Ten. You don't want him trying to cover a 150-pound guy who runs with world-class speed, and there's just no way that he's going to keep up with Green.
They got it for the first down and 10, and they'll work out of that two-man backfield. Randall on the fake, comes near side, wide open near midfield. Tackle made without any gain after the catch, but boy, was Dwayne Bowe wide open. He had 5 touchdown receptions during the season. Pascal put the hit on, 13-yard gain.
There's been no receiver. Skylar Green got hurt in camp, but there's been no receiver who's been a really consistent go-to guy, although Bowe's had some big games. He's a big body, but this group of receivers and running backs are so young. Sophomores, freshmen, junior sprinkled in there, but they have grown and grown in Jimbo Fisher's offense.
Marcus Randall, 62% effective, pass completions, trying to run it this time, gets by one tackle over midfield, takes that down to the 48. Chad Greenway, the linebacker, able to get to it. So Iowa today knows they're going to see some runs. That means these guys have got to put some tackles on. There's a look brought to you by Capital One.
And Matt Roth, another defensive end in this game, coming to an NFL city near you after this year.
Linebackers, couple who are going to be returning in Hodge and Lewis.
And both of those guys first team All Big Ten. Greenway, very good blitzer.
This is going to be a 2nd down and 7 as they move it into Iowa territory. Randall on the pitch, and he's brought down for a loss. Chad Green, 18th in the nation. Greenway in solo tackles gets another one. And that's where the linebackers can really make a difference in a game.
When you have guys like Greenway that can run this well, you give them a choice. Usually you want them running the hump, but if they can get through and make a play, you allow them to do that. You don't want to make your living doing this. Read the guard full. That guard's coming around to block him. He reads that, comes through. That's great recognition by Greenway.
Outstanding play right there. So we get our first big 3rd down here. 3rd down and 11. They will work out of the shotgun. Randall standing back at his own 40 and deeper, looking deep, wants to go near side, gets chased, gets away from one tackler, 40 gets away from 2, and he's brought down for a big loss. And Abdul Hodge, who had the first chance to make the tackle and missed, got back up and made the play.
And this was a rare blitz by Norm Parker. 3rd and long, you expect Iowa to be dropping back. This is almost a 100% zone team. But this time, Marcus Pascal, the strong safety. Excuse me, that's Javon Johnson, the cornerback that came on the blitz. But the good thing that Iowa did, even though they were playing man, they were able to cover. Norm Parker said he didn't know how much one-on-one they'd play. Took a risk there, and it paid off.
Good recovery right there. Chris Jackson will be doing the kicking for LSU, standing back at his 30. Ed Hinkle will be back for Iowa near his 15 on this punt. Plenty of time to get it off. No rush. Hinkle wants to let that one go, and he'll have to play it on the hop, and is able to make something out of it as he gets it up to the 22. Dangerous play. Craig Davis came on. Hinkle able to hang on to the bouncing ball. A 40-yard punt.
You're watching the Capital One Bowl on ABC Sports.
All right, let's see what Iowa can do on their first series. Tate started a 3-for-3 in the air. If he can have that kind of a game, Iowa's offense will be effective because that's how they get it done. Simmons is the lone setback. Tate hands off to him and gets it up to about the 23-yard line. Big question, LSU. Your coach is leaving after this game from Miami. Marcus Spears, All-American. Does it affect your play in this game?
Mature men, mature young men. And I think they all understand that, success takes you a lot of different ways, and Coach he had a great opportunity, go to a great franchise in the NFL. And I mean, you can't ask a man that's as competitive as he is and loves challenges not to take something like that.
Saban did. Saban's here. That will be carried for not much of a gain. Aaron Mickens, their senior fullback, brought down by Lionel Turner. So Dr. Jerry Punchy's gone after today from LSU.
He will be gone, and the big question is who's going to come in afterward. And they've had a very, very busy search committee led by Stanley Skip Burtman, the athletic director. And we all know the names that coaches they've contacted and are interviewed. They include Bobby Petrino at Louisville, Houston Nutt at Arkansas, Les Miles at Oklahoma State, Bobby Williams, an assistant, and former A&M head coach R.C. Slocum. I'll tell you in a moment what they think might happen.
3rd down and 6 from the 25-yard line. Tate out of the shotgun, gets the rush, dumps it over the middle. And the tackle immediately made at about the 27-yard line by Ronnie Prude. Jerry.
Well, Houston Nutt has bowed out. He will stay at Arkansas. We are told the same thing may be happening with Bobby Petrino at Louisville, bowing out of the competition. Right now, the bets, from what you hear on the sidelines, and our bets are that probably Les Miles, the head coach at Oklahoma State, who did a phenomenal job with the Cowboys, has to be the #1 choice. And they want to make a coaching selection, an announcement ASAP to hang on to those recruits. Look for Les Miles to be at the top of the list over the next 48 hours.
All right, David Bradley will be doing the punting on the 3rd down. That'll take it all the way back to a fair catch called very late at the 24-yard line. A 49-yard kick. Skylar Green wanted to run that thing back. But all of a sudden, there were a lot of jerseys in front of him that were the wrong color. Welcome back, everybody, to Orlando. Great to have you with us for our Capital One Bowl. A sellout crowd on hand here today for this one as LSU, the defending national champion, coming in with their 9-2 mark, 6-2 in the SEC. Iowa, the Big Ten co-champ, they ended up 9-2 as well. They were 7-1 in the Big Ten. Both teams with big streaks going. Iowa's won 7 in a row. LSU has won their last 6. LSU will get the football. 1st and 10, and for the 2nd straight time, the Tigers start on their own 24-yard line. They have lost Will Arnold, the offensive left guard. During that commercial break, he headed into the dressing room and had to be aided and had crutches in order to get there. Broussard is in the backfield. Randall looks to him up to the 25-yard line, tries to go the other way and can't. Broussard, the running back, the sophomore, taken down. Final look at those we have left. The Iowa secondary, how much they'll be tested today is an issue because they've got speed against them.
And because of all of the zone that they play, Considine, the senior free safety who's had a wonderful career, will be moving all along. That time you see him, they come down so late to support the run. That Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator, when we met with him, said these safeties do such a great job. They come down to support the run, but they come so late, you're not sure if you're getting an extra man in the box until it's too late to get out of the play.
It'll be a 2nd down and 9. Davis on the near side. 3 receivers. Green set wide side. Look for the quick in route. Nobody to go to. Good coverage, and he's taken down. 22-yard line. Jonathan Babineau. Babineau, a senior who led this team in sacks with 8. During the year, got in there.
And Babineau, one of the many guys at Iowa. You see this a lot in college football, but probably at Iowa more than anywhere where they don't make them. They ask guys if they want to change positions. Babineau came in as a fullback. They said, you're going to be a lot better on the defensive line for us. Believe it or not, going from fullback to defensive line was a good move, and he is now a legitimate pros prospect, and he was actually voted this team's defensive MVP at their banquet.
It is a 3rd down and 12. 3rd down at 12, LSU out of the shotgun from the 15. Randall looking downfield. completes it, but an immediate hit and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Wow. Davis got hit by George Lewis, the outside linebacker, and after the reception, no further gain.
Well, Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator, who actually spent the night in the hospital last night, he suffers from diabetes and felt weak and had to go to the hospital for a little while, said, we're going to be in position. The question is, will we make the tackles? Because the LSU offense has so many guys that break tackles. Norm was not concerned about his guys not being there. He was worried about the tackling. He's got to like what he's seen so far.
And we wish him well, and great to see that despite that last night, he's here. Chris Jackson will be doing the kicking, and it's blocked at the 30-yard line. Rolling around, Iowa's going to have great field position. They put the big charge on and got to it. The Javon Johnson is the man who got in there and got his hands up. And right now, Iowa's getting it done on both sides of the ball.
Well, both Majerus, a tight end, and Johnson get in at the same time. Let's see who's going to actually get credit for this. We got to get this right. This is a January 1 Bowl. I think that was Majerus. I mean, yep. If he didn't get it, Johnson definitely would have gotten it. The whole right side completely collapsed, and this is what Iowa does. You watch them on film. They don't look that impressive, that physical, but they just make plays when they have to.
Screen pass intercepted, and the only man to make a tackle, the quarterback held him up. It'll be brought back to midfield. Melvin Oliver in the interception, and the tank was rumbling. So as soon as Iowa got great field position on the block punt, LSU comes back. Melvin Oliver, the junior, with a 26-yard interception return.
What an excellent job by Oliver. Gets inside and stops. He does not allow himself to get cut. Stays on his feet. He red screened the whole way, but the most impressive thing, this guy makes a one-handed catch. Now, we all know that Marcus Spears is a converted tight end. Oliver is not. This is not something that he's going to be practicing every day, trying to do his best Ed Hinkle, I guess. It's an amazing play, Gary.
Tate threw for 13 interceptions. Oliver did not have one during the regular season. He's got one here in the Capital One Bowl.
It all started really with the way that he read the play, and as the offensive tackle went to cut him, he stopped. Because whenever an offensive tackle is screened to his side, he's going to try to cut block. You get your hands down and get you out of the play. So it all started. It was great athleticism to stay up, make the catch, return. It was just beautiful.
LSU starts now in Iowa territory, 1st and 10. The comeback and another fumble. And it will be recovered by LSU, but it's back at the 45-yard line. Jonathan Babineau again was able to get through and create havoc in that backfield. Whitworth came up with a football.
Well, we already mentioned that Babineau is a former running back. What's the speed of the 280-pounder? I guess he figures he can help his draft stock as a senior in this ball game. You might want to try to block him. I mean, the center didn't do a very good job, but Babineau so explosive, and the combination of him and Roth, they are constantly in the offense's backfield.
So a big loss on that one, a loss of 11 on the sack. 2nd down, 21 from his own 40. That's going to be incomplete and almost intercepted by Considine, who had it in his arms with Davis, the intended receiver. Coming up next, the BCS kicks off for the Rose Bowl game. 2 of the most storied programs in college football meet for the first time. Texas takes on Michigan, 4:30 Eastern. Tonight, 8:30, Utah battles Pittsburgh, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Kind of amazing, as is true in this game in the Rose Bowl, how many teams who've had football programs forever are meeting for the first time.
And the amazing part, too, you have a lot of coaches on those great programs that are going other places. But, yeah, it's kind of unusual that Texas and Michigan had never met before today.
3rd down and 21. Marcus Randall back at his own 40-yard line. Boy, the coverage has been tremendous. He's going to run this and is not going to get to midfield. Iowa's on fire here as far as ratcheting their play up. Randall just has not been able to find anybody open.
Well, when we talked to Matt Roth the other day about this defense, he said the reason we respect each other is because we are all so physical. And right now, I believe Marcus Randall and LSU are figuring out that, you know, the SEC, a lot of people say the best conference. Well, nobody plays more physical than the Big Ten. And I think right now LSU's a little shell-shocked at how much they're getting hit right in the mouth.
Jackson, who averages about 39 yards a punt, puts this one all the way back to the 10. They're going to let it go. Hits at the 5 and just makes it into the end zone. So a 52-yard kick that time by Chris Jackson. And Iowa will take over. She can be anyone. Now she gets to be herself. Golden Globe nominee Jennifer Garner stars in a new season of Alias. The 2-hour premiere event begins Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, only on ABC. Led Cunningham, Dr. Jerry Punch. I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you with us. This is kind of a surprise start for these two teams. Remember, both of these teams have had more than a month off, and both coaching staffs were concerned about mistakes like that. Bounced up in the air at the 20-yard line. Trying to get back into the game rhythms is not easy.
Well, take the one big play out, take to Solomon for the touchdown. Neither offense is really, and that's kind of what you expect. It's like when you start training camp or when you start spring ball. The offenses are the ones, because you don't do everything full speed, you don't do everything game speed, and the defenses, because they just have to line up and get after you, are always going to be a little better. And both of these offenses have struggled at certain parts of this year, but neither defense struggled. Iowa on the road in Arizona State, but other than that, they had a very solid year.
Greg Ferentz in his 6th season, looking on. Iowa head coach. Second down. Whistle.
Yeah.
That's going to be a delay, I think, or movement by Lee Gray.
Yeah.
We have had one injury in this game. Let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch. Doc.
And that would have been Will Arnold, the redshirt freshman left guard. Arnold took a helmet on the outside of the right ankle, has been taken in. X-rays, we are told, are negative. He's not going to play in the first half. They'll reevaluate him at halftime, but he is done for the first half there as the starting left guard.
And for LSU, not good news. Nick Saban, they struggled. The weakness of this team at the beginning of the year was the offensive line. Everyone asked, what's wrong with the offense? Why are the quarterbacks bad? Well, it all started up front. That does not help them.
Tate back, looking near side at the 15, and he will run it out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. Driven out of there by LaRon Landry. Tate much prefers to throw the football. He can run it, but given an option, he'll throw it, including when he's running.
But this is not exactly what Kirk Ferentz wants to be doing with his offense. We asked him about this new offense the other day.
You know, our running game has been pretty much decimated this year, and it's amazing that we've had the kind of success we've had without a running game. It's not how we prefer to play. We'd rather be balanced, but you know, we're going to have to try to spread the ball around, get all of our receivers involved, our tight end, hopefully, and you know, our running game hasn't been strong, but we have to try to, I think, make an attempt at least to try to keep LSU a little bit honest with their defensive approach.
Bad pass by Tate. It is intercepted. He got caught. And while he was going down, LaRon Landry was wide open, only it was the wrong color jersey. It was a 3rd and 12 from the 18-yard line, and Tate forced that ball.
Well, as they work on their scramble drill, all the receivers, when the pocket breaks down, have a place to go. And Clinton Solomon, as he made his break to come back towards the quarterback, slipped and fell. And Drew Tate, assuming he was going to be there, let that ball go, could not see him because he was going down, and the safety is standing right there.
Tate intercepted 12 times in the course of the regular season. You see, boy, he had no balance, was up in the air. And
that's not that great of a move, but he expected Solomon, didn't expect him to slip and fall. Still a dangerous throw.
Great field position, LSU on the near side, wide open at the 25 and down to about the 22-yard line. Marcus Randall to David Jones. It'll be a 9-yard gain. Jones out of the wide position, both a tight end and a halfback, that time working as a receiver.
And LSU needs to take advantage of this turnover. Not 3, they need 7. As we mentioned in the drive before, it looked like this LSU offense was not ready for how physical Iowa was. And on a 2nd and short, would not be surprised if Jimbo Fisher takes a chance with a couple of these receivers up top.
There you see the total yards so far in this game. It's been a defensive game. 2 setbacks, a die in that backfield. Second man through at the 20. There's some big-time banging going on inside. A die, a junior, 210, taken down after he got to the line of scrimmage and got enough for the first down.
Well, whomever is the next coach at LSU is going to find the cupboard awfully full. I mean, you know, Marcus Spears, obviously, Corey Webster on defense, but offensively, this team is so young. 2 quarterbacks coming back. You have Jamarcus Russell, who's the fine freshman, but also Matt Flynn, who's been playing very well in bowl preparation. They've got a lot of talent left.
Broussard comes into the lineup. They carry 2-man through up to the 10-yard line and down to the 9. So Ali Broussard, their leading rusher, with 9 TDs rushing, carries that one for a big gain, and now LSU threatening after a 7-yard pickup.
And Broussard, one of those guys that is just a bear to tackle. Under 6 feet tall, over 230 pounds, does a wonderful job of getting his shoulder pads down. He's not an upright runner like Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma.
Pascal is down. Marcus Pascal for Iowa, the strong safety. One of the things we'll look for today, because in some of the other bowl games that have been played in the warmer climates, there has been a problem with cramping. Yeah. And whether or not we'll have that today, it's a beautiful day. It's not very humid, but it is going to be in the upper 70s. Take a look here. Ooh.
It's almost hard to explain how much force a 235-pound man has. And it's his left leg just buckles. Pascal's left leg buckled. As he went in, he was planning on his left leg right as he took on Broussard, and you could see that left leg crumple. That's not good. This is a guy who's very good in coverage and around the line of scrimmage.
Pascal is coming out of there, so Iowa will lose their starting strong safety, Miguel Merrick, number 15, generally the backup. We've got a 2nd down and 3. Ball is at the Iowa 10. LSU trailing 7-0, but a shot at it right here. Second man in the eye slips and falls at about the 10-yard line. Broussard again on the carry. Broussard could not cut back.
Well, I think you got to get a little more aggressive down in this area. Jimbo Fisher going on 2nd and short, two 2nd and shorts in a row. He's tossed the ball, and I think you could probably take a couple of shots in the end zone. Why not? It's a throwaway down.
We'll see what they do on the next one as the first quarter of our Capital One Bowl is complete. ABC Sports presentation of the Capital One Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television from Orlando, where Iowa has a 7-0 lead over LSU.
ABC Sports coverage of the Capital One Bowl continues.
Delighted to have you with us, Gary Thorne at Cunningham, Dr. Jerry Punch, and a 3rd down and 5 at the Iowa 12. LSU trying to get this game tied up. On the first series, it was Iowa on the big pass play by Tate that put it in the end zone. You see in the red zone, LSU offense 83% effective, Iowa 62% stopping them. That's a pretty good percentage in the red zone. Big 3rd down play, LSU out of the shotgun from the 20. That one got blocked, incomplete. And the hit made as the ball was being released by Marcus Randall. A big rush put on by the Iowa defense.
A little too conservative, I think, down in the red zone early on. Nick Saban should have talked to Jimbo Fisher about maybe moving the pocket. But this time, again, Norm Parker blitzing. The other day when we met with him, he said, you asked him how much man-to-man blitz are you going to play, and he looked at you and said, probably none. Right now, they're about 50-50, and I don't think Marcus Randall is used to seeing that. He expected to see cover 2, maybe some cover 4. He's seen almost all man on key situations.
Field goal situation, 29-yarder. It is up, and it is good. Chris Jackson on the kick. So Jackson puts it through. He is now 10 out of 16 in field goals on the season. So they do not come up with zeros at 7-3.
Let's go back a little bit for, Dr. Punch has been all week talking to people about the head coaching situation at LSU. Doc, you mentioned, front runners. Houston Nutt was a front runner for a while. Obviously, Bobby Petrino. What happened there? And also, what did you hear about Jimbo Fisher? A lot of people thinking he might get interviewed for the job.
Well, let me start with Jimbo Fisher first. Jimbo Fisher, the offensive coordinator at LSU, has been on everyone's list of top 3 or 4 guys to hire as a coordinator. He is Auburn had the best 5 years they had in college football when he was their coordinator under Terry Bowden. They've had the best 5 years of winning here at LSU, all under Jimbo Fisher as a coordinator. He will be a head coach someday. The question was, last year he turned down Cincinnati as a head coaching job. He backed away from Mississippi State to stay here at LSU, maybe hoping that he would get a shot. But I think maybe he may not be quite ready to take on this big a program, and maybe needs to get a program somewhere else, but he's certainly going to be a candidate. As far as the other guys, Houston Nutt in the SEC probably does more with less than any other coach in the conference. A viable candidate, but he's an Arkansas guy. Frank Broyles wanted him to stay at Arkansas, so Houston pulled his name out of the hat. Bobby Petrino at Louisville is loaded. The Cardinals have a lot of young talent. As you saw in their bowl game last night, he is loaded. He will stay at Louisville, so those 2 guys gone. Les Miles looks to be at the top of the list of those guys left that they have interviewed thus far.
And obviously they want to wait here at LSU. They want this game to get done. They want the other coaches to be completed as well. That's why they're delaying, even if they've made a decision. We take it back. Oops. Off the helmet in the end zone. Got to get that covered, and they do to down it. Damian Sims. Boy, we've had some bouncing footballs so far in this game. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. It is, how many head coaches have won both a college football national championship and a Super Bowl title in their career? How many?
Neither of them coached for the Oregon Ducks.
That wasn't the clue.
That's not the clue. All right, the clue is both of them coached in the state of Oklahoma. A little bit of a red herring there.
A red herring.
Off, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nick Saban's team getting on the board. Kirk Ferentz's team got on early. They've got the 7-3 lead for Iowa. Marcus Simmons is out there in the backfield. Iowa taking over a first down and 10. They've got the lead. Not much room there. Forced it up to about the 22-yard line. That was LaRon Landry who came up to put the hit on. Landry will be involved in a lot of tackles. He has been their leading tackler on this team for the last 2 years.
I think it's safe to say that Iowa will finish the day probably under 100 yards rushing unless they bust one, which will make their average, which right now is under 80 yards, the worst it's ever been at Iowa. Since they started keeping the stat back in the 30s, they've never averaged as low as they are this year, but they have to do it. There's just no way that you can expect Drew Tate to do everything. I mean, he almost does, but they have to do something to make sure that those safeties at least have to come down occasionally.
He's 3 for 7 in the passing game. That's going to be incomplete, but sure looked like a holding because it would have been a touchdown. Clinton Sullivan was going to go on a touchdown had he not been held from behind. Travis Daniels knew it, so he grabbed him.
Well, in these corners, it's really confusing to me how they don't know.
Defense. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
You know, the touchdown was by a senior, Corey Webster. This play, Travis Daniels, a senior. And a great move to the inside by Matt Malloy. But Travis Daniels has to know that the safety's not there. The safety that time, Jesse Daniels, had to come down and man coverage onto the tight end. You have to know where your help is or where it is not. And these senior corners, very confusing that they're not more dialed in for Nick Saban.
Brownlee is in the backfield as they get the first down and 10. Tate will pass on first down often, and this time he fumbles it as he gets hit. But Iowa recovers, and it's going to be at the 22-yard line. Kenneth Hollis, the junior Sam, put the hit on.
Hollis doing such a nice job. He's lined up over the tight end. Goes unblocked. A missed assignment by the left tackle that time, Lee Gray. He was supposed to bump out and block him, and Gray is the guy as he goes to chase Hollis because he knew he was supposed to block him. At least he had one heads-up play during that series.
These quarterbacks on both sides are finding it hard to get any room.
Yep.
A sack, loss of 11, second down and 21. Second and 21 for Iowa. They are back on about their own 23-yard line, and Tate doesn't like what he sees. Drew Tate will take the timeout. So here in the first half, the defenses are dominating in this game, even though Iowa was able to get on the board with a long pass to Clinton Sullivan on their first series. Iowa leading here in the Capital One Bowl, the first meeting ever for these two teams, Iowa LSU. The defenses, which were expected to be strong, have been just that so far, with 13-15 left to go here in the first half. Tate coming out. This is going to be second down, long yardage. Second down and 21. He'll roll to the near side, loves to throw. 4 receivers going deep. Good coverage, goes over the middle. That'll be incomplete. Incomplete pass intended for Matt Malloy. And Doc, we've already said they're going to pass a lot more than they run.
Exactly, Gary. These two teams evenly matched everywhere except in the run game. Take a look at the LSU led the SEC in rushing this year, averaging 200.7 yards per game, 2,208 yards, and with the majority of that coming with 3 running backs, 1,800 yards to 3 running backs. They were 20th in the nation. Look at Iowa, the worst in the country running the football, 117th, less than 75 yards a game. A total for the entire year net yards, 824, and they used 11 different running backs to get 824 yards because of all the injuries.
You see today, Iowa rushing 8 carries, 4 yards. LSU not much better. And another takedown. Back of the 14-yard line. Claude Rutten, who we're going to hear from a lot today as well. This guy will disrupt a lot of offenses. He is a first-team SEC. And again, Iowa thrown for a loss.
Mississippi Delta Community College was where Claude Roten was last year. Came in time for spring ball, but the coaches said that the light didn't quite go on for Mr. Roten until the end of the season. LSU, a very diverse defensive package, like a lot of schools are running now. And they said they saw flickers at the beginning of the year, but this guy, a legitimate NFL guy.
Bradley back at his own 5 when he finally gets it off. Pretty good rush put on. Kick will be taken at midfield. Look out here to the 45-yard line. Not able to find any room. Skylar Green on the return. But again, good field position for LSU. Well, we had our trivia question earlier, brought to you by Aflac. How many head coaches have won both the college national championship and a Super Bowl in their career? And the answer is...
Well, I said they both coached in Oklahoma. I was throwing a little bit of a red herring. Jimmy Johnson, of course, won his national championship at Miami, but came there from Oklahoma State. And then Barry Switzer, who followed Jimmy with the Dallas Cowboys and took his players to a Super Bowl, won it while he was at Oklahoma.
And there's your answer to our Aflac trivia question. And now we're going to have Nick Saban moving on.
See if he can try it.
He's going to try it with Miami as the new coach of the Dolphins. First down and 10. Ball from the 45-yard line. Good field position. Looking deep. Randall's going back there all the way towards the end zone. Overthrown everybody. Better chance that time on the coverage for Johnson to have the interception as Marcus Randall let it rip. They were going for the long ball.
There is just nobody open for Marcus Randall right now. And Norm Parker, we mentioned last night, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, spent the night in the hospital. He suffers from diabetes. He's back. First year he's ever had to coach from the booth. He said he'd much rather be down on the field, and right now calling a masterful game. He's changing up man and zone, and that's not what you would expect to see from Iowa.
And Randall, who was intercepted 5 times through 9 TD passes. This time will take it himself. Boy, there's not much room. What a hit put on at the 45-yard line. That was George Lewis, who picked up Randall and gave him a lick.
Well, the questions have been answered that the Iowa coaches had. They were worried not only Broussard at 235, but Randall's 225. You don't tackle much better than that. Face in the chest, wrap him up. And Lewis, the guy that doesn't get a lot of talk as a senior because of the 2 juniors, Greenway and Hodge, doing a nice job.
Good tackle. The offense is struggling. 3rd down and 10. Iowa leading here 7-3. Big 3rd down play. 43% conversion rate for LSU during the season. And looking deep on this one. That is caught at the 30-yard line, and that's going to be enough for a first down. That is Dwayne Bowie who made the reception. He's had a couple of long receptions. Antoine Allen got him. It'll be enough for a 13-yard gain.
Well, Antoine Allen is dropping back into zone coverage, but at some point he's got to squat down. He just continues to bail. And Bo just pushes him off, pushes him off, pushes him off, does a really nice job, and then just does the outcut. But at some point, you've got to let that cushion of air, if there's nobody threatening you over the top on some kind of post behind you, you got to let that receiver get closer to you and squat down.
Randall 5 out of 8 so far in the air. Day comes into that backfield and will carry, but no. Look at the dark colored jerseys over there for Iowa. It'll be a loss of 5 as they try to sweep it wide. Nowhere to go with it. Babineau, Hodge were there.
So the team that led the SEC in rushing now has a total of -7 yards. This Iowa defense, it's all built up front. Matt Roth, we talked about at the beginning of the show, the All-Big Ten defensive end. Babineau, who's going on to Sundays after this year. Greenway, Hodges, both first-team Big Ten. They are dominating this game so far, as the LSU front is, except for the one big play by Iowa.
Iowa was 6th best in the nation rushing defense, and they are showing why here today. Find a little room up the middle, and that's going to be at the 30-yard line. Adai on the carry. He's a junior at 210 who averaged on 90 attempts about 7 yards per carry. Delighted to have you with us here in Orlando for the Capital One Bowl. Iowa got on the board in their first series on the long touchdown pass that went to Solomon. But since then, it has been defense both ways. Field goal picked up by LSU has put them on the board, and 7-3 is where we are at. Now we get another big 3rd down play. 3rd down and 9. They bring in the 4 receivers. Iowa comes up and matches them at the line of scrimmage as they go man-to-man, looking deep, end zone corner open, incomplete. Off the fingertips that time of Greg Davis, the sophomore, and Randall just missed the TD.
Considine, the senior safety, comes over late. Watch him come here. He does an excellent job of turning and running with Craig Davis. Gets back into position. A good throw by the quarterback, but Considine in good position, and Davis just not able to make a play. The LSU fans wanted PI, but that was all incidental contact.
That was good coverage. So a long field goal coming. Jackson's got a 47-yarder that he is going to try and kick here for LSU. Ball down. Jackson's kick is up long enough, and it is good. 47-yard field goal. Good kick by Jackson, and the applause from his head coach. It makes it a one-point game. With 9:26 left to go here in the first half. 7-6.
The Capital One Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive presentation brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller. Good call. Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. And Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Jackson, the man who's getting it done. Back is Damian Sims, who had that ball bounce off his helmet the last time he was back there, looking to get it.
Hopefully clean the windshield this time.
He won't have to handle this one. It'll be taken by Bellis, the 11. Ooh, and he got hit twice at the 15-yard line. Ricochet hits right there. Good coverage put on. The hit made by E.J. Cawley.
You're watching the Capital One Bowl on ABC Sports.
Drew Tate out of Baytown, Texas, the quarterback for Iowa. 3 for 8, 65 yards in the air. He's been over on the sideline talking. A 57-yard touchdown pass to Solomon. He's had that 1 TD and has thrown 2 interceptions that have been picked up by LSU so far in this game. First down and 10. Ball spotted at the 16-yard line where Iowa will start. 2 receivers now on the near side. Out of the scramble. That'll be caught at the 22-yard line. And a good catch made by Ed Hinkle.
Well, let's go back to that first drive by Iowa and take a look at our Chrysler passage playbook. As the safety Landry comes inside on the blitz, the senior Corey Webster, who has one-on-one coverage on Solomon on the outside, has to know that he does not have inside help. He's set head up. That's fine if you've got safety help. But your help now is the sideline, so you've got to set more inside and make the receiver, even if he wants to run the slant or inside release, make him run through you and slow him down.
2nd and 4, and the ball is caught at the 24 or 25-yard line, depending on the spot here. Again, the quick rollouts. Warren Holloway made the catch from Marshalltown, Iowa, senior in the split end position.
And on 3rd and short, this is where a guy like Drew Tate, because he runs so well, and they love to run naked boots where he fakes a handoff and comes back around the other side. If you're a defensive end for LSU, Oliver, those guys, they need to know, get upfield, never get below the football, stay on top of it.
3rd down and 1. Iowa 38% regular season in conversions. They are 2 for 5 so far in this game. They've got it stacked, looking for that first down, and they're not going to get it. Fumble! And LSU, no, the ball was down on the ground. They called it down. Kyle Williams put the big hit on. Big rush in the backfield. Good play by Williams to break it up before he could get to the line of scrimmage.
This guy, Kyle Williams, is so much fun to watch. I mean, he's not a prototypical guy. He walked in the room the other day, and he's not the biggest fella in the world, but man, does he get after it. He is so active at the snap of the ball. He never slows down. He's got a broken pinky that's all taped up. Just so active in the middle.
Bradley's going to do the kicking from his own 13-yard line when he puts the foot to it. A high kick to the 35-yard line where it will take an Iowa bounce.
How is that not a penalty?
Yeah.
Skylar Green did not have an opportunity to catch that ball. That's got to be a penalty.
I don't see any flags down on it, and as a result, that's going to be a 56-yard punt. David Bradley, the Iowa kicker, 56-yard punt. That equals his longest of the season. He had a 56-yarder during the regular season. LSU takes over, first down and a 10. 21-yard line, the official spot. Broussard's in the backfield, first down up to the 30-yard line. That's going to be another first down. Carried to the 39. Good effort after the reception. Dwayne Bowie, who's become the primary receiver, an 18-yard gain. Let's check in on injuries. Jerry.
Guys, the Hawkeye strong safety Marcus Pascal's been examined by orthopedic surgeon Ned Amendola. Sprained left knee, doubtful return, and also the backup defensive end Ken Awabima in the Hawkeye locker room being x-rayed for the left ankle. So injuries mounting somewhat now for Iowa.
And we still have 6:53 and a half.
And Pascal, a guy that they cannot lose. He's so good around the line of scrimmage. That's a huge loss for the Hawkeyes.
First and 10, flag goes down, and there will be whistle as the flag went out before the snap. The offenses have had some big plays.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
But it has been a struggle to get them going. Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, things got off to a flying start for Drew Tate. Quentin Solomon, they hook up on this simple slant route with safety and blitz and nobody home for the touchdown. And then Jonathan Babineau, a former running back, says, well, they're going to go make the handoff. Why don't I just go hit the ball?
Nowhere to go at the 30-yard line, and Iowa swarms and takes Marcus Randall down. The senior is sacked again, and this Iowa defense continues to put enormous pressure on Matt Roth from the end position, George Lewis and Derek Robinson all in there.
And this is exactly how Iowa likes to play defense. You saw the play before when it looked like it was a pretty easy pitch and catch between Randall and Bo because Al in the corner was playing off. They make you earn it because eventually they know that defensive front is so active and so athletic, they're going to get there eventually.
Bring up the second down and 18 after that loss. Again, out of the pocket, big rush, dumps the screen, and nowhere to go again. Iowa read that one. Dye, the receiver, and Babineau was right there with him when he turned to go. A loss of 2 on that play and another big rush.
Well, you're going to lose Babineau and Roth to graduation. But when you get Chad Greenway and Abdul Hodge back, you're going to be just fine. Babineau's the guy who got that play started. It was a screen, and Greenway, he's so much bigger than you think. 6'4", almost 240 pounds. Great recognition, has excellent speed.
Another big third down play, third down and 20. This time for LSU. With the ball back on the 29-yard line, and they're going to try and run it to the 30, and nowhere near enough for a first down. 34-yard line. Dye, the carrier, the junior, and again taken down by the linebackers Lewis and Hodge.
Well, the senior Lewis is getting his licks in before his career's over. That was another. I mean, just in a short little area, he unloaded on a Dye's chest.
Surprised at the play call there?
A little bit. I bet when they were down in the red zone, I think Jimbo Fisher just being playing it way too close to the vest right now.
They are. So it'll bring up a fourth down. And Chris Jackson will be doing the kicking. Ed Hinkle will be back for Iowa. Jackson averaging 40 yards a kick, gets off a boomer. Hinkle looking to see where he is. Will take it at the 12-yard line, 20. And a pretty good return on a kick that was well covered up to the 24-yard line where Cameron Vaughn on the special teams 53-yard punt and a 12-yard return. Iowa leads it by a score of 7-6. They've got about 30,000 fans from Iowa. A reminder, ABC's Wild Card Saturday begins. A great regional action NBA. You'll see either the Knicks battle LeBron James and the Cavaliers. The Nuggets take on the Spurs next Saturday, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific, right here at ABC, home of the NBA Finals. Check your local listings for the game in your area. And a Happy New Year once again, everybody. Iowa's got the football, first down at 10, 25-yard line. That's why they don't try and run it too often. Ball is taken up to about the 25. Iowa's last 5 possessions, they've had a -1 total offense their last 5 times.
Both of these defenses in the top 10 statistically in the NCAA. LSU finished 3rd, and they really needed that defense as they were trying to find an identity early in the year. Even at the quarterback, we mentioned the offensive line, guys in and out, in and out. They never really established the run. Justin Vincent, who was so great last year, struggled a little bit. This defense, though, they could count on them all year long.
in the 60s for total yardage. Here, big second down play. Tent rolling out. Tate's got a lot of time and a lot of room. He'll carry up to the 30. And there he is, driven out of bounds and back. You see how much he wants to throw, even when scrambling. It's a 5-yard gain.
You know, as we watch that play, you think pull it down and run, pull it down and run. But every quarterback will tell you, every quarterback coach, every offensive coordinator will tell you, the big juice is down the field. And when a quarterback figures that out, okay, yeah, I can pull it and get 6 or 7. But if I stick with it and someone breaks long while the defender's eyes are on me, that's the key. That's what Will Muschamp, the defense coordinator, said they worked on all week, was their eyes. Don't let your eyes fool you. If someone breaks long, you better have your eyes on them and go with them, and that's exactly what Tate was looking for.
All right, here's a 3rd down and 5 at the 30-yard line out of the shotgun. Tate wants the quick release on the end, gets it, but it's not going to be enough for a 1st down. Great coverage. The pack would take him to a 1st down, but the whistle had already blown before he pushed him ahead.
And give credit where credit is due. This is the same defense that LSU got burnt earlier in the game by Solomon's touchdown. We saw Travis Daniels on this exact play get called for PI. This time, he's in the right spot and does a great job. It's okay that he caught it. He didn't get to the sticks. And the Iowa fans booing, they might have a point there. I'm not so sure Hinkle's forward progress was stopped when they blew that whistle.
I agree. But the whistle had blown. We did hear that. So Hinkle on the reception, but it's not enough. Bradley again will go back to kick. And Skylar Green will be standing back at his own 25-yard line. We get a whistle before the snap here. 7-6, Iowa on top. The defense is dominating. And both coaches are wondering, what do we got to do to get these offensive going? So I'm talking to Daniels, congratulating him. Ferentz over there for Iowa with a 7-game win streak coming into this one. Want to remind you, next weekend the NFL playoffs kick off. Wild Card Saturday on ABC. The doubleheader begins at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Continues with Game 2 at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. That's next Saturday, ABC Sports, for the NFL playoffs wild card.
Well, I think that timeout was all a function of Kirk Ferentz actually considering 4th down. Don't consider it. Kick this thing away. Your defense is playing great. Although that timeout, they should have known what they were going to do. Know that you've got to kick it away here, and in a game like this, 7-6 with 2:53 left in the 2nd quarter, you don't want to be down to 1 timeout.
Dr. Punch, 2 coaches who know one another.
Yes, indeed, Gary. Their careers and the success have paralleled. You look at Kirk Ferentz and Nick Saban. Last 3 years, each of them have won 30 games. They have each won 2 conference titles. Each have been an AP National Coach of the Year. In fact, ironically, they both began as a head coach in the same year, 1990, and both of them have Cleveland Browns pro experience under Bill Belichick. So 2 coaches with very parallel careers and parallel success as the head men at their respective colleges.
That is Saban, who's moving on to the Miami Dolphins, of course, and that starts tomorrow. His last game here at the collegiate level, at least for now. And this kick comes from the 25-yard line. Green pushed back. What a kick. Back of the 15-yard line. Takes it back to the 20. And there he is driven out of bounds. Boy, we have seen both of these kickers put the ball up. David Bradley did so that time. He's up to almost 50 yards a kick. 51-yard punt, 5-yard return. Let's check in with John Saunders. John.
Alongside of Craig James and Aaron Taylor, getting you ready for the Pontiac High Performance Halftime Show. We'll have previews of the Rose and the Fiesta Bowl.
Well, you know what? Greg Lee, the wide receiver at Pittsburgh, and Tyler Palco at Pittsburgh, I think they got a little surprise for Utah. They better be ready.
Guys, we're going to have a good one here and see if that University of Michigan can stop that run game of Texas.
Let's see if we can keep you under wraps as well. That's all coming up at halftime. Gary, back to you.
All right, John, thanks very much. It'll be a 1st down and 10 here. LSU with the football. They've had a couple of field goals. Randall back in the pocket. Look at this coverage. That's the way it's been all day for him. He's able to run it up to the 24 and then gets knocked back 2 yards. Randall, boy, if he's not hurt, he's lucky. Abdul Hodge put a tremendous hit on.
They are just taking turns, this Iowa defense, tattooing guys in purple and gold. I really think that LSU, early in this game, I mean, they've got to know now, and we've talked a lot about whether they were ready to play this game. I think they were, but I think they are shocked. They've got to start figuring this out a little bit, that this front 7 for Iowa, not only are they athletic, but they will come and hit you.
That is the 4th sack Iowa's had in this game. That'll be up to the 25-26-yard line, shy of a 1st down. Broussard on the carry, the sophomore hit by Considine, whom we've talked about so much, the senior.
You sure Considine hit him or Broussard?
We're not sure.
I mean, give credit to number 37 on the tackle, but that was about 3 yards after Considine went down low. And it was so funny when we met with Broussard the other day. He said, listen, I don't shake people. Get that straight. I am not in the business of making people miss.
I like running straight ahead.
Straight ahead, baby.
Whether it's open or not. It'll be a third down and 4. Randall again looking, and it'll be caught, but it's shy of the first down. Could not carry that after it was caught by Adai. And Adai will be shy of the first down by a couple of yards.
Well, right now, if you have to look at the chess match between defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, Norm Parker is winning this battle between him and Jimbo Fisher. They are not, the receivers from LSU are not taking advantage of the cushion they're getting too often. Every time they've done it, that 10-yard outcut, it's been wide open. That time they ran a little scissors route with Adai, and even if it's a better throw, Allen, the corner's just standing there ready to make the tackle. Right now, Norm Parker's winning that side of the ball.
And with only 1:12 left to go in the half, a timeout taken. Iowa wants to get the football back and have an opportunity to move it up. And there's the man you're talking about, Ed.
Such a nice job so far by Norman, switching it up a little bit. We've seen a lot more blitz than we expected. You can't say enough about Norm Parker. Remember, he missed the first 3 ball games. We talked about how last night he was in the hospital because of his diabetes. He missed the first 3 games. He had an infection on a toe they had to amputate. He missed the first 3 ball games, missed the Arizona State game, which was a blowout.
We didn't think he was going to be here today.
No, there was big questions last night about that. And he was in such great spirits this morning, though, when I saw him up here in the booth. He was just ready to go.
He wants to be involved, and indeed he is. So 1:12 left to go. Iowa wants to get the football back. They'll have pretty good field position. Ferentz using that last timeout that he had here in the first half to do that. LSU's got to kick the football, and they want to try and get on the board again.
And now you have to be talking to Drew Tate about what they're going to have to do without those timeouts. Remember, we talked about those 2 ones quasi-wasted.
Let's see if they rush here. They want to try and block if they can. Only 1 back at the 30-yard line. Trying to put a big rush on. They got it. It gets blocked. Ball bouncing back inside the 5. It's touchdown! The block came by Miguel Merrick and then carried into the end zone. Considine, and the timeout by Iowa results in a touchdown.
Miguel Merrick right up the middle. This is Marcus Spears, the All-American defensive end. And as he fans out, he completely misses Miguel Merrick. He's got to block through that man to Merrick. He never got bounced to the outside. Merrick comes through completely untouched.
This Iowa defense created 83 points on turnovers during the regular season. They were 3rd in the nation in takeaways. The PAT is up, and it is good. And the Iowa defense not only stops LSU, they pick up a touchdown. Considine, a 7-yard return after the punt was blocked.
Well, you called it right from the beginning. You could see that they were not showing any type of return, and sometimes you think they're going to come back. Well, now they really don't need those timeouts, do they, Gary? 1:04 left. LSU gets the ball back. They better make something happen here. They've got to get some kind of momentum going into the locker room at halftime.
So the Iowa defense, as it has done all season, the strong impetus for this football team to get to wins that have not come easy for Iowa. As the coaches and players said to us all week long, we just find a way to win.
And the one thing talking to Kirk Ferentz about, and here's another guy, Kirk Ferentz, who's been talked to and courted by the NFL a lot. Dr. Punch mentioned that he was the offensive line coach of the Cleveland Browns, and he says, you know, Ed, and I've gotten to know Kirk very well over the last few years. He said, I get to come to work with coaches who like to coach, players who like to play. I don't have to fight with Bob Bowlesby, my athletic director. He gives me all the support I need. He's not ready. He loves it here, and that's the reason, because nobody expected them to finish in the top 5 in the Big Ten this year, and all they did was find a way to be co-Big Ten champions.
He's going to be there till 2012. He's got a $2.1 million deal going. I mean, why not be happy? And you got a winning program. That'll be taken back at the 3-yard line. Green trying to make a turn. 13. He's down. There is a flag, and look at the fire coming from the dark jerseys of Iowa. They are really into it. We'll see what the penalty is. A 14-6 lead. We're in the final minute of the first half at our Capital One Bowl. And that will go, as you see, against Iowa on the illegal procedure call. Now they've got to make a decision on what they want to do with this.
Well, if I'm Nick Saban, I make them re-kick it.
Encroachment on a kicking team. It'll be a 5-yard penalty from the 35. Re-kick.
We are helped out by Hal Dowden, the referee. They are from the Big 12, our officials working this Capital One Bowl.
Well, they're not shocked at how physical this game is.
No.
Things can be a bit physical in the Big 12 as well.
Yep.
I'm really, you know, we talked about the offenses. Not that surprising they've struggled. But the one thing you have a concern about is how crisp the tackling will be in a bowl game because of those layoffs. Both of these teams have done an excellent job.
Kick will come from the 30 this time. Total yardage so far, 77 total yards for Iowa. 72 total yards for the Tigers of LSU. That's how good the defenses have been in this game.
Well, and you got to give credit to Kirk Ferentz and his staff for recognizing how difficult it's going to be. I mean, they got it a semi-easy one. I mean, don't take away from Solomon and Tate. It was great work on the slant, but they got a semi-easy one to make something happen in the special teams where they feel they have an advantage.
So on the re-kick, this ball's going to come down at the 10-yard line. He's got it, 20, 25, and that's going to be it. It'll be 1st and 10 with 52 seconds remaining on the clock. We want to remind you, don't miss special videos by Rock's biggest stars all through the BCS. It's the SBC first half music highlights later today after halftime of the BCS games. New Year's Day 2005. Hope you had a very safe and happy. And there goes the quarterback as Marcus Randall heading off. So Randall out of there, and Jamarcus Russell. Flynn in near side. That'll be carried to the look out to the 40. One man to beat to the 50-yard line. Broussard, the 5, touchdown, LSU. "74 yards in a game that is turning into a game of shockers. Big plays. 74 yards in the final minute of this first half. LSU gets the touchdown. Now do you go for 1 or 2 points?
Well, and Ali Broussard, he lied to us a little bit, Gary. He said, I don't like to make people miss. This isn't really making a miss, though. Watch the cutback and watch as Greenway, the tight end, or excuse me, the outside linebacker and the safety, Considine, overrun the play. And Considine got a face full of Andrew Whitworth coming across from the backside. It became a foot race, and you don't expect a guy who's 235 pounds to be this fast. Allen had a bit of an angle on him, and he just ran by it.
That run of 74 yards is 2 yards more than the team had prior to the run in the first half. Holy moly. Well, we saw Randall leaving. Let's check in with Doc.
Guys, Marcus Randall in the LSU locker room right now being examined by Brent Banks and a team orthopedic surgeon, apparently looking at some right ribs. He took a helmet in the right ribs in the last offensive possession. We'll update you early in the second half.
And I want to correct myself. We had a red-shirted freshman come on to play quarterback for that one play, Matt Flynn. All right, now it's 14-12. 2-point differential.
I think a mistake. I just never think you go for it, especially you got a redshirt freshman, just came off the bench at quarterback, kick the extra point, go in at halftime. I just think this is way too early to be going for 2 points.
Matt Flynn is going to try and tie this thing up. The quarterback looking near side in the end zone. It is caught. A whistle. There is a flag down. If it stands, this game is tied.
I think they got offensive pass interference on Dwayne Bowe pushing off.
Let's see. Bowe trying to come back.
Pass interference.
Yep,
he did.
Number 80, a 15-yard penalty. Repeats the try.
So they went for the 2 points. The offense called on the interference. Take a look.
Long arms, 6'3" Bo, and that is the perfect call. No question. Push the cornerback.
Javon Johnson was the man trying to defend him, and he got pushed away. So the attempt to get this game tied on the 2-point conversion goes for naught on that play.
Well, now you're right back where you should have been anyway, Gary, kicking the extra point.
Only it looks more like a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, this is now a 35-yard field goal, but Jackson's been money today, so they should be all right.
See, Matt Flynn, he is also the holder out there, so Flynn comes out to hold. This is an extra point. And a flag down. The kick is going to come from the 25-yard line. But before they can snap the ball, the flags go down.
Well, now let's make it a 40-yarder. Why not?
We're going for a record in distance on an extra point.
Does he get bonus? Does he get a bonus point?
You get nothing more for this.
Really?
You ought to get 3.
That's a shame.
Well, this is going to make it a 1-point game with 38 seconds to go in the half if he can put it through. This is not exactly.
This almost seems unfair.
It is. Chris Jackson.
Is it just me, or are they not quite centered up on the field right now either?
They aren't. He was 14 for 18 in extra points during the season. A line drive kick, and he missed it.
That's a huge one.
So, after all of that, it remains a 14-12 game. Well, we spent the first half talking about how the offenses have not been able to score. I guess what they needed was to get it down to 1 minute left to go. With 1:04 left, it was Considine after the blocked punt, returning it for the touchdown. Then 38 seconds left to go. Broussard takes it all the way, 74 yards.
And you almost took some momentum away. I mean, Broussard had an amazing run. Great vision, cut back. Whitworth finished it off nicely, the backside tackle coming, but you got to push off in the end zone, and then illegal procedure became a 40-yard extra point, and Jackson shanked it.
There he is, getting ready to kick off with 38 seconds left to go.
Well, and LSU fans probably still smarting over an extra point missed against Auburn. Of course, that was Ryan Godet, not Jackson, who missed that and made up the difference in that 10-9 ball game.
Jackson will kick it off here, and Iowa will try and keep this final minute of offense going. Wanted the short kick, trying to keep it away from the deep ones. It'll be taken at the 20, and a slip and fall at the 23-yard line, and that's downed right there. Damian Sims trying to make the cut, goes down. Where that knee went down is where it will be marked. Coming up, our Pontiac High Performance halftime show. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. The Rose Bowl is where they are. Scores and highlights from the other bowl action today. LSU and Iowa marching bands will be on. And the Bus Boys present their return of rock and roll. It's all coming up.
You think they're going to play The Boys Are Back in Town?
There's a chance. There is a chance.
Really good chance.
Really good chance?
Yeah.
Is that because you saw the rehearsal and heard it?
Exactly.
That's exactly what I thought.
It's still stuck in my head.
Iowa's just going to down it right here and run this out with 30 seconds left to go on the clock, and willing to go in with a 14-12 lead in this game. Not been easy to hang on to. Iowa just 3 first downs in the half. Nevertheless, they lead it 14-12. Nick Saban's got to join Doc. Doc.
Thanks, Gary. Coach, one of the best offenses in the SEC struggled for much of the first half. What are you trying to do at halftime to get untracked in the second half?
Well, I think what we need to do is correct our special teams errors. We got 3 turnovers, or had the opportunity to get 3 turnovers from them, and got great field position and didn't convert. We really need to do a better job offensively of getting things together and playing with a little more consistency. We just have no consistency on offense right now.
Last halftime as a Tiger head coach in the locker room, will they come out with more emotion in the second half?
Well, it's not about me. It's about them. You know, I mean, hey, we want to win the game for the players. It's about the players, so it's up to them.
Thanks, Coach. Gary?
And that's what Nick has said all week long. In fact, for the last couple of months he has said that, but his team is down by a couple, 14-12 at the half. Now let's send you out to the Rose Bowl. Pasadena's the site. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor.
Gary, thanks a lot. And guys, you heard Nick Saban saying the emotion is about the players, but
you really got to feel he has some emotion in this game as well, knowing it's his last as head coach there.
Yeah, guys, he's going to be a little bit tight knowing things are going on, but the mark of this LSU team is to finish strong. They'll go in, have a great halftime speech. This is the last time these players are ever going to play for Nick Saban. I think they're going to be able to go out there, get it done, address those issues on offense, and they played great second half.
You know, the issues I think that he's talking about really is the consistency, and that's the offensive line on both football teams. They need to go out and stay on their blocks. Not everybody's finishing their job, and I think in this game you've clearly seen offensive struggles because the linemen aren't staying with their blocks. I'm blaming it on the linemen, big fella. It's early.
Yeah,
it's
what else is
day.
your running back doing that?
How do you like those 40-yard extra points? Those are always fun to attempt as well. When we come back, we're going to preview the Fiesta and the Rose as well. Right now, Iowa leads LSU by 2 at halftime. One of the most famous stadiums in the world, the Rose Bowl, 91st Rose Bowl game. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor here in the Pontiac High Performance halftime show. As we get you ready for this game, it's interesting for a number of reasons. Of course, Michigan trying to get redemption from last year when they lost to USC. But for Texas, the first time Mac Brown has gotten a team into the BCS.
Were you one of those guys saying that he was whining?
It wasn't me.
Huh? Wasn't you? Are you sure about that?
I
think it's so. Hey, you know what? Texas deserves to be here. This is a football team that had a passion for the season. They played and they finished strong. They lost to Oklahoma. We saw that game. We're on the sidelines. They're great athletes on this football team. This is a great football team with a challenge coming up, though, with Michigan. No question about that. This will be a challenge for them.
Squeaky wheel gets the oil, boys. And one of the challenges that's going to happen is how the University of Michigan is going to stop that potent run game for Texas. Cedric Benson is the man, so they're going to have to show up on first and second down and shut him down. But then on third down, they're going to have to find some way to contain Vince Young. Michigan's defense, guys, the last 3 games given up 250 yards on the ground. Ooh, baby.
First down, second down, third down, and fourth down.
And punt. You were a witness, by the way, to the fact that Cal didn't deserve to be here instead of Texas.
I guarantee you, Cal shouldn't be here. They showed that.
All right, that game, of course, is coming up at 4:30 Eastern Time. For our preview, the gentlemen who call the game, Keith Jackson and Dan Fouts.
John, it's been a bit of an uneven week for these two teams in their practice schedules because of the inclement weather. It's been wet, it's been sunny, it's been sunny, it's been wet, but both seemingly have prepared themselves quite well. The turf in the Rose Bowl should be firm, however. It's been covered.
But if it rains during the game, you think that Michigan might have the advantage because they're used to playing in bad weather. But when they play at home in the Big House, it's on field turf. The Longhorns are the second best running team in the nation. They are good on any type of surface, and I think they have the edge here.
You still feel now that the quarterbacks hold the key to this ballgame?
Well, when you have a true freshman, as the Wolverines do have in Chad Henne, a lot of pressure will be on him. We'll see how he can handle it. And with Vince Young, he is the wild card. His ability to get out of the pocket, make plays, ad-libbing is the key for Texas.
These are two classy football teams from two classy universities. History, tradition, everywhere, John. And we think this is it's a pretty good matchup. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Keith, we do as well. And again, with all the tradition of those two teams, hard to believe they have never faced each other mano a mano. Other games being played today, some interesting matchups. Let's begin with Georgia in the Outback Bowl facing Wisconsin. David Green, watch this pass. It's like the Immaculate Reception 2. It gets deflected. Jeremy Thomas takes it 24 yards.
They worked on that all week. Right before Christmas, they put that play in, John.
It worked out real well for him. Tennessee, what happened to Texas A&M today?
They didn't show up. How about Rick Clausen, quarterback at Tennessee? Tennessee showed up. A&M looked like a team that was just glad to be playing on New Year's Day.
Yeah, these are two teams that are going to be very strong next year, and I think that Texas A&M, I was really looking for them to kind of make their mark that they had officially turned it around, but Texas, or Tennessee rather, showing that they have a little bit better job getting ready for next year. Texas A&M still has some work to do.
And Bobby Bowden, Florida State, just a 1-point lead over his former school at West Virginia. Of course, the game will have later tonight, the second of the BCS, the Fiesta Bowl. Interesting matchup because a couple of teams that a lot of people feel don't belong here, but they know they do. For a preview, Brent Musburger.
John, there aren't enough novelists in the entire state of Arizona to explore all the storylines in this game. Consider Utah became the first outsider to crash the BCS money machine. Result, their flashy coach Urban Meyer cashed his Florida lottery ticket. Consider Pittsburgh won the Big East Conference almost by default. Result, their coach Walt Harris was forced out of town on the next train. What do you make of all this? Well, Utah has been installed as a 16-point favorite. John, we await the final chapter of this saga tonight.
Brent, thanks a lot. And again, as Brent said, very interesting because neither coach will be coaching their team come the start of next year in this one. Utah has something to prove, first mid-major to get there. Pitt has something to prove because they struggled in the Big East.
They did. You know, at one point we had written Walt Harris off. Harris was going to get fired. Now he's got a new job going somewhere else. And this is a football team that relies on its offense. Tyler Palco, the quarterback, is really a good player. The backside of the season, he came on and he led the team to this bowl game. For Utah, though, this is one of those teams, their defense is going to have to show up. If they really are a BCS team, it's time for their defense to show up and shut down Palco.
Well, a lot of people have been talking about Utah's defense and that they've been lacking a little bit there, the bend but don't break. But they've almost generated, or they have generated, almost 3 turnovers a ball game, so they create some opportunities for Alex Smith and that potent ground and offensive game for the Utah team to go out there. So I think Utah, together as a team, I think the statistics, that's easy for me to say, are a little misleading in this one. Their defense shows up to play more than people think give them credit for.
Utah, you can bet, are going to try and put a lot of points on the board. Of course, those are the first two when we talk about the Rose and Fiesta in the BCS games. And coming up on Monday in prime time, it's the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Auburn, they think they should be in the Orange Bowl, but they will face Virginia Tech. And then the national championship game, Oklahoma and USC. And despite the fact that Auburn does have a beat, they're undefeated as well, I think this is the matchup, USC against Oklahoma, that everyone wanted to see.
Well, you know what I look forward to seeing is whether or not the guy who wears the chef hat in the commercials is able to walk through Bourbon Street and then make it to the Orange Bowl. Hey, Oklahoma's going to show it with defense. USC and Matt Leinert's offense. Can Leinart take his team, win that Heisman Trophy, and go against Oklahoma's defense? That's going to be a challenge.
Guys, I can't wait to watch the matchup between that big Oklahoma offensive line, Vince Carter, Jamal Brown, the Outland Trophy winner, against Mike Robinson and Sean Cody, a defensive line. That front seven of USC, that is going to be a matchup, boys.
And the first time ever, 2 Heisman Trophy winners will be on the field at the same time. Right now, back to Gary Thorne in Orlando.
John, thanks very much. Now let's watch and listen to the Golden Bears from Tigerland, the LSU Tiger Marching Band under the direction of Frank Wicks. Happy New Year. Welcome back, everybody. Our Pontiac High Performance halftime show. Now, let's watch and listen to the Iowa Hawkeye Marching Band under the direction of Kevin Caston. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. More of our Pontiac High Performance halftime show. Let's join the festivities and the return of rock and roll. Brian O'Neill and the Bus Boys perform. The boys are back in town.
We've been waiting for a long time. Yes, we've been waiting for a long, long time. We've been waiting for a long time. But we ain't gonna wait no more. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Well, there's a reason everybody should be shaking in the house tonight. And you should grab your favorite lady and promise her you'll do it right. Tell back Jack to jump back and give you a shot of some booze. So you can party to some stomp down, button thump and rock and roll, rhythm and blues.
How colorful is that? Our Pontiac High Performance halftime show. Let's rejoin the halftime festivities. Brian O'Neill, the Bus Boys, perform Ain't Through Rockin'.
Drink and fight, then stay up all night, 'cause we ain't through rockin'. No, we ain't through rockin', baby. When we ain't through, ain't nobody through tonight. And when we ain't through, ain't nobody through tonight. Tonight. Oh, we ain't through, ain't nobody through tonight. And when we
Boys, thank you. We'll return second half of the Capital One Bowl coming up after this from our ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television.
You're watching the Capital One Bowl on ABC Sports.
Great part of college football, and especially in the bowl season, the bands and the cheerleaders along with the fans on hand here. Some 70,000 here in a sellout in Orlando for this Capital One Bowl. Gary Thorne counting him back. And it was the first half of big plays, opportunities created by mistakes on the other side.
And Iowa, as they have done all year long, making do with very little, and it was all on their punt protection. For LSU, where it broke down, you saw Nick Saban. He definitely didn't look happy talking to Jerry Punch. For them, they just have to settle down. And I think LSU offensively, they've got to take off the wraps. Now, the question is, Marcus Randall, will he be able to play? He was hitting the ribs and not sure if he's going to be able to return.
We may be looking at a freshman quarterback who's going to be playing in place of him. He took some shots in that first half, and Randall had to leave in before that final drive where they actually scored a touchdown in that final minute. So the final half for Nick Saban as the LSU head coach, and his team trailing 14-12. We are underway. LSU gets the football up to the 15, 16, 17-yard line, and that will be that. And we are underway here in the second half. Boy, the defenses have really enjoyed themselves here in this game, and the special teams have become part of that with the plays that have been made. Now, there you see the starting quarterback who is back, Marcus Randall. Let's check in. Doc.
Yeah, guys, Marcus Randall has a flak jacket on to protect those bruised ribs in the first half. He will play, at least begin the second half. A lot of emotion and execution talks on the offense in the LSU locker room. Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban trying to get the offense on track here early on in the second half.
Broussard's in the backfield. He had the 74-yard run for the touchdown. 3 receivers near side. And they'll start it with a run again, and that ball will be brought up to the 19-yard line. Movement on that far side. Matt Roth, who jumped like a
he was a little
2
early.
seconds ahead, I think.
Yeah, he got a false start.
Offside defense, number 31, should be a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
He's got to get back in the blocks. Restart.
See what happens with the mistakes here in the second half, and how they do or do not mount up.
Take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, the quarterback comparison between Marcus Randall, who was unable to finish the half. Matt Flynn surprisingly came in instead of Jamarcus Russell. And both of these quarterbacks take out the one big play to Solomon by Drew Tate, and it's been tough going.
It has been that. The die is in the backfield. 2 receivers to the wide side here as they'll run this out of the shotgun. Marcus Randall. And they'll bring that one, again, not very far, 26-yard line. The ground games have been virtually non-existent except for the big mistakes and the one big play, Broussard on that 74-yard run for LSU in the final seconds of the first half.
You know, it's amazing. You take out Ali Broussard's run and you take out Solomon's slant catch for 57 yards, and these two offenses combined for 92 total yards.
Amazing.
In the first half. And we've talked about it all along that typically with this much of a layoff, the offenses can be a little rusty, but I think it's got just more to do with 2 fine defenses playing at their very peak.
Second down, a yard to go for the first down. That's what they're going to go after. Second man up, and that's going to be close. I don't think so.
No.
You see where the first down marker is, and a die. The carrier had nowhere to go. His running back in front of him could not get moving, and the line fell backwards on it, and that's going to bring up a third down.
And okay, it's time now. It's time to open up. The things have not been working for LSU. Again, take out Broussard's run, and that number rushing is a terrible number. And right now on 3rd and 1, I wouldn't try to run back in the middle again. Jonathan Babineau is absolutely dominating at the point of attack. Matt Roth, Greenway, all those guys move Randall. I know he's injured. Get him out of the pocket, give him a run-pass option. If anything, he could slide after he picks up the first down.
2 out of 9 third down conversions in the first half. Again, the second man through, and the second effort's going to be close. And it'll depend on where they spot the football. And again, a very conservative, straight up the middle play against that tough Iowa defense.
And this offensive line is being dominated by the black shirts.
They're going to call for the chains to come in from the short side. 2 out of 9 conversions, third down, first half LSU. Let's see how they start the second half. And it will totally depend on where that spot is.
But again, it was Babineau, and they're running right at him. I mean, if you're going to run at somebody, go away from Babineau. This guy is doing everything he can to try to make himself a first-day draft pick in April.
And they got it by half the length of a football. LSU had 6 first downs in the first half. They get 1 here.
Watch the leverage of number 45, and this is what NFL scouts are going to look at. He never, right out of his stance, never came up. Now, does he make the tackle? It doesn't matter. He made the running back cut back. A good job of finishing the run, but Babineau right now is just plain sensational.
We were told how effective he has been, even though Matt Roth has gotten more of the recognition on that defensive front. So it is a first down and 10. Ball spotted at the 28-yard line. LSU with the football. Randall a couple of steps back, comes to the flats, complete at the 30, 35, and there is where he's driven out of bounds. Skylar Green, the junior, hauled it in. It'll be a 9-yard gain.
And right now, this is exactly what Jimbo Fisher needs to start calling. Your quarterback has already shown you with that throw that he's able to do it. You always wonder, man, you take a hit in the ribs and you never, it can be so painful for so long, moving everything like that. Wouldn't be surprised if they gave him something for the pain at halftime, but he looks fine. You have to go try to attack this cushion that you're getting. You can't even see the cornerback up top.
It'll be a second down and 1. Going to pass on it first down to midfield. Good solid tackle made down the sideline. He would have gone. Dwayne Bowe has been a primary receiver, hit by Javon Johnson, but it comes after a 15-yard gain.
It becomes more than 10 yards at the snap of the ball as Johnson backs out. Great job by Bowe, showing that he may go deep the whole time. And this is exactly the way LSU expects Iowa to play. We saw a little bit of a change-up earlier in the game, but if they're going to play off like that, that outcut is there all day long. They have to make them play that and come down a little bit and then maybe take a shot over the top.
Bowe has 4 receptions for 60 yards in the game. The leading receiver, straight drop this time, looking downfield. That's going to be intercepted at the 30. And they've got it back. Javon Johnson, the junior, his 14th career interception. The leader on these backs turns the ball over.
Well, and why not just go back to what worked before? I think this is a bad call, and I think it's an even worse decision by the quarterback. Johnson knows he's got the safety over the top, and he just drifts and sits there. There's no way the quarterback, a senior quarterback, should not see what coverage he has. It's safety over the top, corner taken underneath. They gave no reason. They gave Johnson no reason to come down and play up front.
First and 10, Iowa's got it. They roll to the near side. Looking Tate. He wants a big play early, and he'll get it. It is caught inbounds into LSU territory at the 43-yard line by Ed Hinkle out of Erie, Pennsylvania. The junior hauled it in for a 19-yard gain.
Well, now you see why the coaches from Iowa, even though Kirk Ferentz, we heard him talking earlier about how this is not the type of offense they want to run at Iowa. They're so used to guys like Fred Russell and, of course, Robert Gallery, the great offensive tackle last year, now at Oakland. They're used to pounding on people, but Drew Tate can flat get it done.
He is 7 for 12 now. A couple of interceptions and 1 TD pass for Tate. 1st and 10. LSU says movement on that line, and it looks like that's exactly what they got. While they check the flag, we'll check in downstairs. Dr. Punch.
Well, guys, Iowa head coach at halftime, Kirk Ferentz, talked about exactly what happened on that very first play. So we've got to get Drew Tate into some rhythm. They've been showing us some different looks defensively. We've had some long yardage situations. We've got to stay out of long yardage and get Drew corking here early in the second half. Got to get him in a rhythm. If we get his rhythm going, we'll be okay offensively.
So that's the effort here in the second half for Iowa. Even though they've had the lead, their numbers offensively you wouldn't think so if you just looked at the numbers in the first half. Well, they marked that one off, and it's a first down and 15. Iowa struggling to get it going. We'll try it on the ground. Nowhere to go there. Simmons, Marquise Simmons on the carry, but he is gone. Will we see some more of the acrobatic catches that Ed Hinkle has had in his career? Well, maybe. Take a look at number 11 and what he has done. This is a one-handed grab he had against Michigan. Against Iowa State, 29-yard TD reception in the air. And this grab at Penn State, that came in 2002. Mr. Hinkle can fly.
Well, and you just saw on the play prior to that running play, he's got great body control. He knows exactly where he is and where the ball is, and he caught the ball as he was falling out of bounds. He's just great.
Tate moving it near side 30. That's going to be completed, and it's going to be enough for a first down. Ed Hinkle, just the man we were talking about down the sideline, and there's Tate scrambling.
And this is such a wonderful throw by a sophomore. And you cannot discount the fact that Drew Tate is not a redshirt sophomore. He is a true sophomore. This is over the top of zone. A good job by Hinkle breaking to the outside when it wasn't there. All he's doing is finding where the safety can't get to him. And Tate just lays this ball up perfectly. We saw the senior Randall a moment ago try to drill one over the corner. It got hit. This one lofted over the top. A great throw by Tate.
18-yard gain, 6 for 55 now in the passing department. That one's going to be knocked down. Hinkle's had 6 receptions, 55 yards. Tate that time coming across the middle for Tony Jackson, who's not been involved as a tight end yet.
And Kirk Ferentz told us yesterday that one of the keys is making sure these tight ends, Scott Chandler, a converted wide receiver, whose brother Nathan, of course, was a starting quarterback last year, trying to get them involved, but Tate that time misfired. And the one thing that Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator, was talking about is his emotion. He's a very emotional player. Not only have they had to slow down his release a bit and let receivers get out of their break sometimes, but keep him calm.
All Big Ten as a sophomore to Baytown, Texas. There he goes the other way, throwing from the other side. That's completed to Hinkle again. Ed Hinkle up in the air, hauls it in as Jesse Daniels put the hit on. A 14-yard gain. Doc?
Guys, Ed Hinkle's mom and dad, Mike and Peggy, not only taught the boy about commitment, they showed him what it means, because since in the 5th grade, they have only missed one of the young man's football games. That means they drove the 10.5 hours, 650 miles each way to see him play in Iowa. And all over games on the road, with the exception of Arizona State and the bowl games, they have driven to 61,000 miles on the family Buick the last 3 years.
Time for a new car. Brings up a first down and 10, 16. Best drive of the game. Tate completed. Hinkle. And out of bounds at the 9-yard line. And Tate is firing. Travis Daniels drove him out. Hinkle wants the Iowa fans up.
And it seems there's been kind of a pipeline from Pennsylvania. Of course, Kirk Ferentz from Western Pennsylvania, and Ed Hinkle and his family from Erie, Pennsylvania. He just connects with those kids. He knows it's a long way for them to come. He sells them on the family at Iowa and how well they'll be treated here. And these fans, when kids come into the program from outside of the state, they really, really take a liking to them.
Second down and 3, receptions of 19, 18, 14, and 7 yards on this drive alone. And Tate's in the air, coming across, incomplete. Wanted to get the big man, Clinton Solomon, into the end zone on the quick look in, but Corey Webster stuck his hand in.
And this is the exact route that Webster got burnt earlier in the game for the touchdown. This time, see where he set inside? That's where he needed to be before. Great break on the ball. I mean, this guy has instincts, but you have to start as a cornerback based on the coverage. You just have to stand in the right place.
He had 8 pass breakups during the regular season for LSU. He gets another big one there, and here's a big third down play.
I would guess that Tate's going to sprint to his left.
2 for 7 third down conversions. Comes to the right. Wanted to throw. Going to run. Going to the corners. Not going to get there. Driven out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. But as he checks the helmet, he got what he wanted for yardage.
He knew. Well, you know, they're used to his helmet flying off. We saw that in the open against Michigan when he got his helmet ripped off and still tried to make a play down the field. This is a reverse option. Ran this earlier. And it would end up being a pass play. But, boy, that's a pretty good hit over there. Good job of getting to knowing where the first down was. Knew he wasn't going to score, but picked up the necessary yardage.
You may have seen number 84 go by. We have not heard from Marcus Spears in this game. You're talking about an All-American, number 84, at the defensive end position. First and goal from the 3-yard line. Tate, who's been moving on all of them, does it again. He wants to go to the end zone. Nobody there. Lobs one to the corner. May have been out of bounds and back in for the receiver, but it won't matter as it is incomplete. You see Tate hollering at Tom Bush, the intended receiver. Tate is almost an introvert when you talk to him off the field. But when he's on the field, he is an extreme extrovert.
He's quadruple A personality on the field. And right now, because of the lack of running game, this is really 3 passing downs for Iowa. I just don't think you can turn around and hand it off, especially against this physical front. Kyle Williams has had a sensational game in the middle for LSU. So right now, you're going to go shotgun, probably move the pocket again. LSU, you might want to think of some kind of blitz from the wide side of the field to force it.
Wide side has 2 receivers out of the shotgun. Tate again looking, tight end coming across in the end zone. A great defensive play, and it's knocked down. LaRon Landry moved in front and knocked it away.
And Drew Tate, who's had great feet all season long, slipped. His front foot slipped as he went to deliver this ball. Watch the right foot of Drew Tate, and this ball got away from him. Slipped right as he let it go, and it floated. I was wondering, because that ball got there late. He usually gets the ball there. That's a great shot there, and that's why it's behind. And Chandler very lucky to break up an interception.
Tate is 4 for 8 on this drive that's getting a little touchy. This is a 3rd down and goal. The ball is at the 2-yard line. 3rd down out of that shotgun. 4 receivers. Big rush. Throws it back. End zone incomplete. Solomon tried to haul it in one-handed. Tate's upset at himself as it will bring up a field goal situation.
You know, most quarterbacks you'd say not to throw back across your body. This guy, you're going to go ahead and let him do these type of plays. This is so close. As Solomon breaks back across the middle, they work this scramble drill all day so that Tate knows where the receiver's going to break. If you're on the back of the end line, you go away from me or come back to me. He knows exactly where they're going to go, and that one he missed. Got to be careful with that emotion. You want to get too charged up.
Slicker comes on to do the kicking, a 19-yard attempt. He is 20 out of 25 on the season in field goals. That kick is up, and it is good. And a good play made by the holder, David Bradley, on that. It'll make it 17-12. Iowa leads it. Iowa got the field goal and the 3 points. Keep in mind in this second half, LSU's got a 6-game win streak. And during that streak, they have given up 12 second-half points. 12.
Well, if Iowa comes back out the next time and moves the ball around like that, they may give up 12 in this second half because Drew Tate looks like he's about to get on fire.
All right, LSU will get the football back at the goal line. Green at about the 2-yard line. 15, little room on the far side. Woo! Gets through a necktie. 30, flag down, going to midfield. And inside Iowa territory, fumble. But did it occur after the whistle? And yes, it did. The ball was down. You saw him almost get clotheslined as he was back at about the 20-yard line where the flag is. Considine had to come over, and there you see the call.
15 yards on that run.
Boy, what great position the Tigers are going to have on this return. 15-yard penalty will be tacked on to the run.
Yep, knee down. Good call. Look, he hit the back, the heel of his own player. It looked to me like, I mean, it happened so fast that it might have come out.
Great call by the official. That's tough to see.
Yep.
Well, so a tremendous return, a 58-yard return, and a 15-yard penalty.
And Matt Flynn comes in at quarterback for LSU. Unless Marcus Russell is really in pain. This surprises me. He looked fine on the last drive. He looked like he could throw the ball. And another surprise for LSU fans is that it is not Jamarcus Russell who comes in, but the other redshirt freshman.
This is a 19-year-old out of Tyler, Texas. Handoff will be taken inside the 25 to about the 23 by Adai. So we've got Matt Flynn in at quarterback during the season. Flynn had very little playing time as he was third on the list and played in just 9 games. He went 3 for 6 in the completion department, so really just a mop-up role for Flynn during the regular season.
And when we were talking to Jimbo Fisher, we brought up the quarterbacks, and I said, who's your third guy? He said, Matt Flynn, and he may play. He's played so well through bowl practice towards the end of the season in practice. I want to see what this young man can do.
2nd down and 6. Flynn, quick step. That ball was there. Could have been caught, but it'll be incomplete at the 20. Let's check in with Doc.
Guys, first of all, Jamarcus Russell is okay, and he could play. In fact, they even told all the 3 quarterbacks to be prepared at halftime in the locker room. But during the bowl preparation, the coaches, Jimbo Fisher and company, were very impressed with the performance and the development of Flynn. They said, don't be surprised if we see this young man play some in the bowl game. And thus, here in the 3rd quarter, he's in the game.
Well, maybe this is part of the plan then. Maybe they said, we're going to give this guy some quality time, which is always smart. I think you should give young players quality time in a bowl game because you are starting to prepare for next year. And maybe
he's,
this just his
he's
chance.
getting it here.
Oh, yeah.
3rd down and 6 to the near side. Incomplete. Green had a reach behind him, and Miguel Merrick put the hit on before he could control it.
But here is why I don't think you should have done it. If this is part of the plan, if this has nothing to do with Marcus Randall's injury, I don't think you do it here because you had momentum, and there's 2 throws in a row by a young quarterback who's not working with these receivers on a daily basis behind his receivers. If he throws those on the money, and he will as he gets older and more experienced, they've got a 1st down. They're probably going into score right now instead of having to settle for a field goal after a really good kickoff return.
This is Chris Jackson, who's already kicked 2 field goals, 29 and 47. This 39 is a fake. Going up the middle looking for the 1st down, and they're not going to get it. Oh, they've taken some chances. Matt Flynn, who is the holder, picked up the football and took off. And he's going to be shy on the 4th down and 6.
Well, we're at a key part in this game. And Nick Saban has decided to give the entire ball game to a redshirt freshman who has played sparingly. I don't know about this decision to have Matt Flynn try to do this much when it looked like they had some momentum after that great kickoff return.
Now they want to make sure, so they will bring in the chain gang from the far side. On a 4th down and 6, they faked what would have been a 39-yard field goal, went for the 1st down, and they missed it by that much.
I don't mind the call going for the fake field goal. I really don't. I just think at that moment, even if it was your plan to bring in Matt Flynn, you put the senior in, you've got momentum, you're getting down to the red zone, which is so much more difficult than in the middle of the field. I don't like the decision.
So, as a result, the ball will be turned over. Iowa will get it, and they've got the lead.
The Capital One Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive presentation brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The new blockbuster. Come celebrate the end of late fees and the start of more. The new Ford 500, built for the road ahead. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Our great aerial shots from facilities provided by Capital One. Iowa's got the football, 1st and 10. Drew Tate in at quarterback as they take over after the non-conversion. Carried up the middle to about the 19 or 20-yard line by Marquis Simmons. Let's take a look at the play that got Iowa the football back.
Things were just terrible. Zinger, the tight end, you'd figure he'd come in here and block and help as Flynn runs ahead. He sets up like it's just going to be a regular field goal try, so obviously did not get the call. They're running an option. And so Zinger, he's got to be out there. If they're going to pitch that ball to the kicker, Zinger's got to go. But like I said, taking a redshirt freshman who's played very little and putting that much pressure on him at a key moment in the game, I just don't think that was the right thing to do.
2nd down and 6 for Iowa. They have the lead, and they've had it throughout. That's Solomon who's got it again. Turns back to the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Clinton Solomon. Let's go out to beautiful Pasadena. John Saunders.
Gary, here in Pasadena, you see Mac Brown elated to be here. Texas really wanted to come to their first ever Rose Bowl game in their first trip to the BCS. They're set to take on the Michigan Wolverines coming up in the Rose Bowl. We, of course, will be here before to get you ready. Gary, back to you.
Thanks very much. Number 4, number 13 going at it in the Rose Bowl. The granddaddy of all the bowl games. Here we've got first down and 10. Tate backing up, 2 receivers off to the left side. Tate, that quick drop. He has a very quick release. That is handled once, twice, and caught. Yes.
Wow.
35-yard line. Solomon's caught 2 in a row. 7 yards on that one.
Oh, he's got the lineman's face mask, so he must have lineman's hands. He had to catch that one twice, yeah. Oh, you block it first. He said it to himself. He must be a volleyball player. You know, the receivers I used to play with when they did that used to say, why can't I get credit for 2 catches?
Yeah, he's having a hell of a day. You see, averaging 20, almost 24 per reception. Second down and 3. And that's going to be enough for the first down. That is Simmons, and that's one of the longer ground games you'll see from Iowa.
Well, Simmons was part of the walking wounded. Of course, they lost Marcus Schnorr, Albert Young, and Jermel Lewis to season-ending injuries. Jermel Lewis, the all-time leading rusher at Iowa. And Simmons was a guy who hurt his ankle against Ohio State, one of those dreaded high ankle sprains, and missed 4 ball games. Probably the most talented of who's left, and a nice cutback by Mr. Simmons.
5-yard gain, their longest rush today. And that one just dumped under tremendous pressure. They want a flag, and they're going to get it.
Well, let's see if he was outside the pocket.
Tate started the circle, and then he was just surrounded. There's the grounding call on Drew Tate.
Yeah. Well, he didn't throw it out of bounds.
Intentional grounding. Offense, lost it down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
It was supposed to be a tight end screen to Tony Jackson, the tight end. He never leaves. And even though Drew Tate gets outside of the box here, he throws it in the area where no one is there. That's where he was expecting Jackson. If he'd have thrown that, and you could see Tate with his hands up saying, Tony, come on. You've got to turn around and be there for the screen. And even though he may have been throwing it away, a good call by the official, because he's got to throw that ball over out of bounds for it to be a non-intentional grounding type throw.
Get another big play. Second down and 21 after the penalty as they lose the down and the yardage. Under the shotgun, flags are down. Tate again's got to scramble back the other way. Nobody's deep. He's going to run it. And Tate will take it down to the 39-yard line, but we got to check on the flag. Ronnie Prude, who comes on in their nickel defense for LSU, had the coverage and then made the tackle.
And it looks like possibly Glenn Dorsey slow to get up, who's
Illegal formation on the offense, only 6 men on the line. Be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
So Iowa's going the wrong way in this series.
That's all right. David Bradley, their kicker's averaging almost 50 yards per punt, so he'll change this if he has to.
There is Dorsey heading off. He got up, obviously, under his own power. So Tate, a tough series right here. He's 12 for 22, 150 yards. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions today. Iowa now has picked up the 51 yards on 7 penalties.
Watch this guy right here, Hinkle, on the little slip screen. They may run off. You've got to try to get up 10 or 15 yards so you have a makeable third.
Second and 25. Looking near side. Nobody's deep. One receiver fell down. Hinkle got it at the 30 and then is just caromed out of bounds by Travis Daniels. Want to remind you, it's being billed as the best championship game in college football history. 2 undefeated teams, 2 Heisman Trophy winners. Number 1 USC beats number 2 Oklahoma. The national championship game, FedEx Orange Bowl, Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, right here on ABC Sports.
You know, everybody complaining and saying, you know, Auburn went through the SEC, and all 3 of those teams have legitimate arguments. I'm really happy about that matchup. I think it's going to be an unbelievable game the night of the 4th.
Iowa's 3 for 9, third down conversions. They tried the draw play, trying to get to the first down at the 40, and not quite. Aaron Mickens trying to cross him up on a passing situation. Cameron Vaughn the hit.
And this is a really good call by Ken O'Keefe. knowing that it's basically an unmakeable third down against this defense, because you're not going to be able to run a route long enough, fast enough with this pass rush to get the first down. So now you pick up some yardage, and Bradley, the punter, who is having a great game, can change the field position back for Iowa.
That's what he's going to try and do right here, as Bradley comes on to do the kicking from his own 30, and he just gets that one off. Look at the kick.
Jackson.
That's going to be all the way back to the 7-yard line. Carried back up to the 20, and good field position on the return by Skylar Green. A booming punch. Chad Greenway moved in to put the hit on. 49-yard punt, a 16-yard return.
You're watching the Capital One Bowl on ABC Sports.
And we are delighted to have you with us on this New Year's Day. The defending national champions, LSU, this year coming in with a big win streak into this game. Iowa's won 7. They've won 6 in a row. First down and 10. The Tigers with a football. Flynn is back in there. Good throw near the first down marker, shy of about a yard as Bo made the catch. Let's check in with Doc.
I spoke with the LSU medical staff, and regarding Marcus Randall, we mentioned he has the bruised ribs and is wearing the flak jacket. But on that first series in the second half, he was having trouble getting a deep breath. He getting some spasm now from the muscles in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles. Cannot get a deep breath. Not back in now, not out for the game. Could be back in later, but right now they're holding him out.
And I was pretty critical about Matt Flynn being in there because we didn't know that. And good job, Doc, finding out what's going on. So that is why Matt Flynn's in there, and that's why the last drive they had to go with what they had.
Off on the comeback to the 40, and that'll be brought up to the 43-yard line as they came across the line. Broussard, who's had the touchdown, gains 9 on that one. He's had a 74-yard run in this game as well. Broussard has been their primary runner as expected. The Ford Rose Bowl pregame report. Stay tuned for that. It's upcoming. We've got 4:50 left to go here in the third. Our Capital One Bowl, and it's 17-12 Iowa.
And if an LSU fan was away from the television in last drive, Matt Flynn, who is in, it would be shocking for an LSU fan to think that Flynn is playing instead of the other redshirt freshman and Jamarcus Russell, who started 4 ball games this year.
That much.
Yeah. And but the coaches told us they thought that Matt Flynn did a really nice job getting ready for the bowl. They have think he has a lot of promise. Russell, of course, takes nothing away from what he's done. But the one thing that Jamarcus Russell struggled with was accuracy. And so I think right now they feel like they're in a game where they have to throw it because of the lack of running game against a very good Iowa defense. And Matt Flynn is in there because Marcus Randall having a hard time breathing.
And Matt Flynn came out of high school with one of the strongest arms in the nation, according to most of the scouts out of Tyler, Texas. He is noted for hard throws, and he can throw the ball long. 2 receivers right side, second down and 1 for LSU at the 43-yard line. They're going to get the first down easily and will be within a couple of yards of midfield. Broussard, a workhorse. Hodge, the tackle.
Keep mixing it up. You've got a young quarterback, a guy who has not played a lot. Run them. If you can get Broussard going at all, and then that will open up your play-action passing game, which always, I mean, it helps any quarterback, but especially a young guy like Flynn.
Broussard's up to 98 yards, 1 touchdown on 9 carries, including that 74-yard touchdown run. A first down and 10, 49-yard line for the Tigers. Short side, 2 receivers. Flynn fakes. He's got time, looking deep, avoids 1. Got a backside rush coming, didn't see it, and he's down back at the 35-yard line. Jonathan Babineau, a 14-yard loss as he and Hodge combined on that one.
Well, and this is just a freshman mistake, a guy who's not used to what the internal clock has to be at this level. Babineau, a former running back with great speed, never gives up on the play and goes to finish it. And Flynn just needs to know when he got out of that first rush, throw it away, throw it at someone's feet. Do not I mean, that's a huge loss.
That's the 5th sack the Iowa defense has come up with in this game. A 14-yard loss.
You think Babineau's doing something for his draft status this afternoon?
Second down and 24 now for the Tigers, who are trailing in this game. And they're going to run it. And not very far, about the 38-yard line for Adai. Hodge put the hit on. Let's check in with Doc.
Well, thanks, Gary. Arguably, no company has done more for college athletics in the last year or so than the fine folks at Capital One. I'm with Executive Vice President Bill McDonald. And, Bill, how do you guys benefit the most from all your involvement in college football?
Well, Dr. Jerry, this is a great foundation for our brand. The energy, the excitement of college football is very similar to our company itself and really gives us a great time or opportunity to share with folks our great products.
Bill, thank you very much.
Great, glad to be here.
And we thank Bill and all of the staff, the Citrus Bowl staff and his staff. They've been magnificent this week. 3rd down and 22. Flynn back. Flynn down the middle, and it's incomplete. He had a couple of receivers cutting across, but Iowa had even more in the coverage of Bo, who couldn't get to it.
Well, I don't care if you're a senior, true freshman. You've been starting every game of your career. When they cover your guys up like this and the pass rush starts getting to you, then you're just not going to get anywhere. And Iowa plays as good as anybody in the country zone coverage, and there was just nowhere for Matt Flynn to go.
Jackson has been a big part of this game doing the punting for LSU. There he is again. This one he doesn't get as high, but he's going to get the bounce. It'll be taken by Hinkle, and he is immediately downed, and that's where Iowa will get the football at the 28-yard line as Ronnie Prude on the coverage. 1st and 10 when we come back for the Hawkeyes, who are leading at 17-12. This Iowa team that keeps finding a way. They are maintaining that lead of 17-12 somehow, some way. Tate got it down to a 1st and goal from the 2 in the last series, but they weren't able to convert on it. See what they can do here as they take over. 1st down and 10. Going to try and run the football, and it's going on to the 37-yard line. Sam Brownlee on the carry. Well, I think that's going to be their biggest ground game.
Yeah, and hats off to Mike Elgin, the center. Really nice job. Kyle Williams has had such a sensational game, and he does a great job of finishing his block. And Brownlee able to cut it back. Brownlee's not going to make a whole bunch of people miss, but when your center blocks that well and you can cut, you don't have to make the cut until late. And this in a long line of offensive linemen who switched positions for Kirk Ferentz.
How about hanging on to the football? He wasn't going to let go of it either.
No way. Now, when you get your chance, you better hang on.
Especially at this point of the game with 2 minutes left to go, 2:04. They're shy by a couple of inches of the 1st down.
But Mike Elgin came in as a linebacker. Kirk Ferentz, who was one of the best offensive line coaches when he was in the NFL, a terrific offensive line coach, talked him into switching just like he did Robert Gallery, who was a tight end, Eric Steinbach, who was a tight end, Bruce Nelson, who was a tight end. They're all now in the NFL, so it was an easy sell for Mike Elgin to go to center.
We've talked about Marcus Spears, the All-American on defense for LSU. Doc, he's not been involved much today.
And, Gary, we are hearing from the LSU medical staff that he apparently has injured a biceps muscle. They've tried to keep it quiet for obvious reasons during the week, but we are hearing now that he's injured a biceps muscle about 4 days ago on his right arm. That takes about 3.5 weeks to heal. He'll be fine in 3 to 3.5 weeks, but today he basically is playing one-handed.
I have torn a bicep before, and even if it's a partial tear, there is so much pain running down your arm that it's surprising. You knew he would play as a senior, but I'm not shocked he's not been affected.
They're going for the 1st down just straight ahead. You see both arms wrapped around that football. Brownlee again on the carry. They want to maintain possession, keep control of this football now. They've got the lead. Keep it away from LSU and don't have a turnover.
Well, and it's kind of a shame for Marcus Spears for his career to end with an injury and not being full speed, because this man, who was a tight end, had one of the best plays in all of college football last year in the Sugar Bowl as he dropped into zone coverage, and Jason White did not see him there. The former tight end makes the catch and then finishes the play. You see how he looked that ball in? That's beautiful technique, and also had another return for a touchdown this year against Mississippi State. Just a shame that he's not at full speed today.
Tate changing it up on the line of scrimmage here on the 1st down and 10. They found themselves a running back, and they're going to stay with him here as they've got Brownlee and Simmons carrying the football. Lionel Turner, all SEC, moved in and put the hit on.
This is like old school Iowa.
Yeah, and if they're going to have a ground game, what a time to find
you
it.
Think?
Here in the Capital One Bowl when you got a lead and a minute to go in the 3rd.
Melt the clock. Yeah, this is a throwback offense. This goes all the way back to like 03 and 02 for Iowa when they had Fred Russell running for over 1,200 yards per year.
See how they play it here on a 2nd down. 2nd down and 7 with the ball on the 42-yard line. Iowa's led throughout. They scored a touchdown on their first series of this football game, and the Tigers have come back, got to within 2 at one point, but that's as close as they've gotten. And Tate takes a look and says, nope, not what we want to run here. With 32 seconds left, let's take the timeout and find out what we're going to do.
Well, he saw Corey Webster, the cornerback, creeping in. To me, that looked like it was going to be a boot. Wouldn't be surprised if he was going to his right. And Corey Webster, right at the last second, started creeping in, showing corner blitz, and Tate didn't like thinking number 13 was going to hit him in the face.
Well, national champion LSU Tigers had it last year. The BCS standings brought to you by Allstate as we head towards another champion to be crowned this week.
And, of course, the big hubbubaloo at the end of the season was Texas jumping over California. And, of course, everyone at the BCS and everybody involved very happy with how bad California played the other night. And I said that going into that game. First of all, Texas Tech, if you're not ready for that type of team, you're going to have problems. And Cal, of course, wanting to play in the Rose Bowl and just didn't feel like they needed to show up for the Holiday.
Tell you one thing I was really happy about, Ed. I saw a couple of the coaches who came out, and today I read where they said, look, this coaches poll is not the one you should be going by. They admitted to us, a number of them during the season, we don't even know who's doing what.
They can't know.
We're coaching.
Yeah, they can't know.
We're coaching, and a lot of them just hand off the voting to their public relations department to vote.
Yep.
The coaches poll, the coaches are the last ones, really.
Well, and they have more bias than anybody.
Absolutely.
Because they want everybody in their conference to do well. And then the AP just ridiculously sends a letter to the commissioners and says, it's illegal. I mean, come on. You didn't know you were part of the BCS? That was just a joke.
There's a committee coming. Tate back, looking over the middle. Got a receiver open at the 40-yard line. So Tate completes it on the 2nd down and 7. Scott Chandler makes the catch, the sophomore tight end.
Well, and Chandler, who was a wide receiver going through spring ball, gained about 15 pounds over the summer. They know he's never going to be a great blocker. He's a tall, rangy guy, but he's got a really good feel for this offense. His brother Nathan was the starting quarterback and did an amazing job for the Iowa Hawkeyes last year. So this is a guy, as he goes forward in his career, just a sophomore, is going to make a big impact, especially in the middle of that field.
And the third quarter is coming to an end, and this Iowa team, 77 total yards in the first half. They have 127 yards on the board here in the third. And they've got the lead. ABC Sports presentation of the Capital One Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. Iowa leading 17-12. And delighted you are with us on this New Year's Day, and we may get to see all 3 LSU quarterbacks before we're done.
Yeah, might as well line them up. Marcus Randall has bruised ribs. He's having trouble breathing. Matt Flynn came in a little bit off, not terribly, but Jamarcus Russell, who started 4 games, looks like he might be coming in on the next drive.
Iowa's got it first down at 10. Tate goes the other way, avoids one, comes the other way and completes it. That's what Tate can do, even though that's not going to be for a big gain. Holloway got it. It is a 4-yard gain. Prude on the hit.
But how frustrating is it for a defense when you've got him? You absolutely have him. You've got him sacked. He's going to go down. But he has the ability. He's not a tall guy. Just they list him at 6 feet, and I'll give him that. But just goes right underneath Lionel Turner. And he has that ability. He has such great body control and knows right at the right moment when to duck, when to spin, and that is just so frustrating. What looked like a 5-yard loss turns into a 4-yard gain.
15 for 25 in the passing department. A quick handoff and a draw comeback to the 30 and down to the 28-yard line. Aaron Minkins on the play. Marcus Spears talked about Tate, the quarterback he's facing today.
He's going to scramble. He's going to pass. You're going to be upset because you think you got him sacked, and he's going to throw it away. You know, those kind of games, it just makes it more suspenseful. It makes it better when you get at him and you really get him on the ground and you get a lick on him.
And a change as they were coming off the field. Mike Elgin, the center, out. Ben Cronin has to come in on a 3rd and short. That's a big change in the middle of the offensive line.
3rd down and 1. Tate with the 2 backs behind him. They'll run for the 1st down, and they'll get it up to the 24-yard line. And Simmons again hanging on to that football. All of a sudden, for Iowa, dead last among Division I schools in rushing. The running game, number of plays to passing, is almost 50-50.
Well, and Kirk Ferentz, you know, he said we're going to have to run it. We don't have to run it. We have to be efficient when we run it. Well, they're more than efficient right now. They're starting to take this game over. A really nice job by the left tackle, Lee Gray, sustaining his block. And we mentioned all those guys who have been hurt, but Marcus Simmons, who was injured for 4 games with a high ankle sprain, looks like he's got a little something to him.
They're moving the football. They've got a 1st down and 10 near side blitz, and it's incomplete. Could have been caught, would have created a one-on-one. Hollis put the hit on Tate as he released that football, trying to get it to the tight end, Tony Jackson.
Well, you said they were 117th in the country in rushing, and this is why. When you lose, 10 players have been lost for Iowa this year to season-ending injuries. And 3 of those 10 were running backs. And don't overlook Jermel Lewis, the all-time leading rusher at Iowa, got hurt against Michigan State. And that is when this offense really morphed into what it is now.
2nd down and 10. Tate on the fake. Big rush. Has to dump it off. Completes it at the 30-yard line. Down to the 20. Inside to the 15. The 10. And out of bounds inside the 5. Scott Chandler. And there is Tate at his best.
Well, and this is such a great job.
20-yard gain.
What a great job of Tate not panicking. He had heat coming to his face. This is going to come all the way back to Chandler, the tight end. As Turner comes in and hits him, he knows he's back there. And then Chandler, who's not exactly the fastest guy on the field, but you know what he did? He waited for those big bodies to get out in front of him. This is excellent patience by a big man.
Now, the last time they got down into the red zone and a goal, they couldn't convert. This time, touchdown! Simmons on the carry. On this series, Tom Bush, the fullback, has had a couple of tremendous blocks leading runners into that line. Iowa's back up, another touchdown. Klecker ready to come on, and the point after attempt is up, and it is good. 10 plays, 72-yard drive. Simmons caps it off with a 4-yard run for the TD. After it's all completed, Iowa's on top of LSU 24-12. Simmons, who scored that touchdown rushing, had 2 during the regular season, adds 1 here, and the Hawkeyes go up 24-12. There's the scoring drive. Only took 4:30 to do it, and effective both running and passing. And now LSU is going to have to air it out a little bit. 12:48 left to go. Here in the 4th of our Capital One Bowl, LSU will get the football back, 5-yard line. Green. 15. Trying to make a turn. 10. Got a good block and is driven out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
Well, Kirk Ferentz has said that his quarterback, this young Drew Tate, has a little magic about him. He knew he was going to take a shot. He knew that Chandler was set up on the backside. He throws a perfect pass. Chandler does a beautiful job reading his blocks, and then all of a sudden, a running game that has been missing since last year's Outback Bowl against Florida comes alive against the best rushing defense in the SEC right when Iowa needed it. They're starting to melt this clock away.
3rd quarterback that we have seen, Jamarcus Russell, now another red-shirted freshman, comes on. He's played a lot this year. LSU continuing to try and run the football. They may gain 3 on that, but they need yards. Broussard, who's been their big runner on the carry. There's Russell. Jamarcus Russell in there.
And Russell getting a chance against this very good Iowa secondary, but remember, we got to go back to the first half when LSU went for 2. They had a offensive pass interference, backed them up. They missed the extra point. At 24-13, that's 8 points and 3. So a touchdown, 2-point conversion field goal. Now you have to score 2 touchdowns, and that's why you just don't go for 2 in the first half.
Skylar Green just limped off over there, their receiver. That pass is going to be completed at the 34-yard line to Greg Davis, who came on for Green on that play, and Javon Johnson put the hit on him. Still staying underneath the coverage, short yardage passes and off-tackle runs.
And what was it that Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, told us yesterday? We keep the ball in front of us. And this is just absolute a blueprint for how Iowa has won this year. Make the other team be patient and make plays. And, of course, Marcus Randall out with the ribs, and now it's rotating quarterbacks, redshirt freshman quarterbacks for LSU.
They'll get a whistle before they can get the snap as LSU wants a timeout on this 3rd down play. They need to keep the football now with 11:19 left to go. Russell will make his way over, the first series he's been involved in.
The Capital One Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive presentation brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. The new singular, raising the bar. And Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you?
Little Magic Castle there, the aerial camera facilities provided by Capital One. Welcome back to Orlando. This LSU team has averaged 400 yards a game on the season. They've had just 61 yards this half and only 200 in the game. And they've got a big 3rd down here, 3rd and 4, and a carry off right will get it. They needed that 1st down to keep the football. McGill, good job of blocking out in front. And we're going to get a player down. The die had some good help, and Davis. So both Skylar Green and Craig Davis, who play that wide receiver position, have here in this series have gone down. While they take a look, let's check in downstairs with Doc.
Well, guys, the Hawkeye year will finish on the highest of highs, the January 1 bowl game. But it began with the lowest of lows because the Hawkeyes lost a very dear friend of the program back in March of this year. 33-year-old Jeff Parker, who is a victim of Down syndrome. The son of defensive coordinator Norm Parker and wife Linda passed away. Now, Jeff worked part-time in the Hawkeye equipment room, and thus they have named an equipment room head manager scholarship after Jeff Parker. A huge loss for the Hawkeyes. And they also dedicated the back cover of the program. And on the back cover of the program, it says Jeff was a son, a brother, a friend, and always a Hawkeye. A huge loss for the program, guys.
And I talked to Norm this morning before the game. They're building a new equipment room in the stadium, and they're going to also call that the Jeff Parker equipment room.
Great story. That one in the flats is close to a 1st down. Looks like a little bit shy as Dwayne Bowe in the reception, the sophomore, has been a primary target today, and LSU moving the football here, and they've got time if they can get downfield.
Well, and that's the key. Do they have time? I would think LSU, and wisely right now, they're going without a huddle. Well, no, they're huddling they're kind of doing a quick huddle near the ball. I don't think they need to be quite in complete hurry-up mode, but don't waste a lot of time. This is a good decision.
Bowe, 5 receptions, 69 yards. Jamarcus Russell, quarterback, 3rd one we've seen today for LSU, and nowhere to go on that one. Broussard on the carry gets hit by Chad Greenway, 18th in the nation in solo tackles on the year. Broussard, their leading rusher, taken down.
Well, and Abdul Hodge and Chad Greenway, these guys are going to be back next year for Iowa, and you just don't get better. This is the best group of linebackers in the Big Ten, both Greenway and Hodge. First team all Big Ten, and I'm sure there's a lot of coaches in the Big Ten that wish those guys were seniors.
Here you got 2 plays to get a yard. You're not going to cough it up. 3rd down and 1. 3 receivers. Could be a quarterback sneak here. Russell, nope, going to hand it off. Looking for room, and enough for a 1st down, but I think just enough for a die.
There's no easy going, is there?
You go up against these 2 defensive lines, and you've really got a task. And up there for the first down. Coming up next, the BCS kicks off with the Rose Bowl game presented by City, two of the most storied programs in college football. They'll be meeting for the first time. Texas takes on Michigan, 4:30 Eastern. Tonight, 8:30 Eastern, undefeated Utah battles Pittsburgh, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Great day of football, New Year's Day. The tradition continues in college football. Just shy of midfield, the first down at 10 for LSU. Jamarcus Russell directing traffic over the middle, incomplete. Partially screened on that. Skylar Green, the intended. Considine was in on the coverage.
Well, Considine came up because he read run, and as he turned, he almost slipped and fell. And right at the last second, got his hands out and tipped this ball. Ball just a little bit late. A lot of people thought maybe Skylar should catch that ball, but when it's tipped, it comes off of that line, and it's nearly impossible. But Considine did a nice job of recovering from what he thought was going to be a running play.
Second down and 10, again out of the shotgun. Russell looking near side. Flag is down, and that will end the play right there.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 80 offense, then 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Let's not forget who we're talking about here for LSU. This is the best rushing team in the SEC. And a lot of people around the country would say, well, the SEC is the best conference. I don't think they were this year, but they're still one of the top 2 or 3, especially when you talk about running the ball with them. Defenses like Alabama and Georgia, when you're going up against them, and don't take away how good Iowa's played, but it just has not looked good today for LSU offensively. When they've seemed to get a few things going, they've gone away from it. I just don't think the play calling has been very consistent.
LSU has averaged only 3.2 yards per rush. Not very good. A second down, 15 after the penalty is marked off. Russell looking to the near sidelines and throws it behind the intended receiver, and not even close. That was Bo again. Russell put it behind him.
Well, if I'm Nick Saban, I walk over to my senior, Marcus Randall, and I say, Marcus, can you go? I mean, the answer obviously has to be no, because right now this offense is just, there's no way they can overcome 12 points with the way their quarterbacks are playing.
And of their 3 quarterbacks, the weaker arm is in there right now, comparison-wise. That is Jamarcus Russell, third down and 15. The Iowa fans on their feet cheering for their defense with 9:10 to go in the fourth. Russell looking, 4 receivers out at the 40. Caught, first down, maybe more, heading to the end zone. Oh, but he stepped out of bounds.
It sure looked like it, and the line judge came up and made a great call, 32-yard line.
It is a first down, but it is not a touchdown. Stepped out of bounds all the way back at about the 32. Well, that had the LSU fans on their feet.
Well, let's take a look. Let's watch the tiptoe through the tulips. Well, oh, boy. I don't know. Boy, it sure looked to me like his heel was off the ground. Wow. Yeah, this will be a little better angle. But watch his heels and see if they actually come down.
Can't see the line there.
Can't really see it, but boy, that was awfully close.
24 yards on that play, first down and at 10. That close to being within a touchdown. The fake, the look deep. They've got 2 going to the end zone. They got 1 open on the left side. He didn't see him. Going to be completed up to the 22-yard line to the back. Broussard hit by Hodge. Another receiver for LSU had gotten open down near the 10.
Whether he was in or out is irrelevant at this point, but what is relevant is how big of a break that is for Iowa, not just because of the score, but because of the clock. I mean, I don't think it's really that big of a deal if LSU scores on this drive, as long as it takes them some time, because Iowa offensively has really been able to do whatever they want in the second half, which is shocking against a Nick Saban defense that's this good. So it's just a matter of timing. It's not if LSU scores, it's when they score.
Russell putting on a show here at quarterback, getting the opportunity. First down at 10, again to the end zone, going to the near side. It is caught! Touchdown! Skylar Green! And LSU is not done. 22-yard TD pass.
Well, a lot of people around Baton Rouge have thought that Jamarcus Russell is going to turn into a great quarterback. He struggled a few times this year with some of his accuracy. but this is what they see from this young man from Mobile, Alabama. He throws it well. That's just a wonderful throw with touch. He didn't drill that in there, and it allowed Skylar Green to make a nice play on the ball.
Well, that one is going to be up, and it is good. And what a finish we've got here. Russell completed the last 3 passes for 56 yards, including that one to Skylar Green for the touchdown. And the 3rd quarterback that LSU has used today. Justifiably excited. They're back in it.
ABC Sports coverage of the Capital One Bowl continues.
New Year's Day, great football, great stories. LSU trying to right run here after being down a couple of touchdowns. They've gotten back to 24-19.
Jamarcus Russell, the 3rd quarterback to see action today for LSU. Of course, Marcus Randall, the senior, got hit in the ribs right at the end of the half. He's had trouble breathing. He came out. He looked good. I mean, he was throwing the ball fine, but unable to catch his breath between plays. Matt Flynn, the redshirt freshman out of Texas, came in and did some okay things, but this defense from Iowa has just made it so difficult.
8:21 left to go. LSU's coverage here important as the ball will be taken at the 9-yard line. A little skidding on the field at the 20. That's where it'll be taken over as Bellis brings it up for Iowa. The hit made by Spadoni.
A great throw, but a better route. He goes out, in, out, and then back. But the thing is, he's got to keep it skinny because Considine, the safety, is going to start working his way there. Such a good job. Back out and then back in. A double move route, a little bit of holding. He fought through it. But Considine is a non-factor as he rotates over. A good call by Jimbo Fisher.
Now Iowa's got to hang on to the football, which means they got to pick up some first downs. First down and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Drew Tate has gone the distance for them at quarterback. They'll run 2 out of the backfield and try and keep Broussard going, picking up yardage. He and Simmons have been their 2 carriers. Simmons that time. And now it becomes vital that they maintain possession.
What needs to happen, though, is they need to go back to that offense we saw in the 3rd quarter. I know they've got the running game going a little bit. And don't go away from that because that will continue to melt the clock. But continue to leave the game in that young man's hands. Drew Tate has gotten you here. He's the guy who can win it for you. Do not get vanilla.
Hinkle and Matt Malloy, 2 wide receivers come in. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Big blitz looks like it's going to be coming here. Only 1 back and a deep, and that's going to be incomplete. Tried to read that and get that receiver behind it.
Well, and that was, you've always heard coaches in baseball and in football say, don't aim it, throw it. He aimed it. He saw that he had his receiver, Matt Malloy, break into the inside. They've been working that slant all day against that blitz look, and that time Tate pulled the string on it and wasn't able to throw it accurately.
To this point, this is going to be the biggest play of this game. It is a 3rd down. Iowa's 3 for 11 in 3rd down conversions. 3rd and 7. Tate, again, linebackers moving around for LSU. Tate 16 for 28, 201 yards. Working out of the shotgun. Tate will roll it out, looking, and that's going to be tipped and caught for a first down. Solomon came down with it after the defender had a chance on the interception.
A little cat and mouse back and forth. LSU shows blitz, so Tate changes the play. So what does LSU do? They back out and play zone. And Tate gets this ball. I thought he threw it perfectly, but Webster does a nice job backing up and tipping this. And this is the 2nd tipped ball that Solomon has caught in this ball game. The first one he tipped to himself, and this one does a nice job. Webster not able to knock it down, got it up in the air, and Solomon very lucky to be right there.
10 yards first down. Solomon 4 receptions, 81 yards and a TD and a big first down. Little room near side, turns the corner at the 40, just shy of a first down. Boy, they are running it well. Simmons again on the carry with Webster moving up to put the hit on.
Well, Brian Ferentz, who is Kirk's eldest child, we talked about at the beginning of the game, nearly lost his leg to a staph infection. He's had 7 knee operations on his right leg. Physically, he's not there, but he brought an attitude to this offensive line, and Kirk said, my son made it fun for these guys to play again, and they've improved so much since Brian Ferentz has gone in. That time, Lee Gray, the left tackle, did a fantastic job finishing his block on the stretch play.
A 2nd down and 3 at the 41-yard line. Iowa just trying to control the football now. No room over there. As this defensive LSU trying to rise to the occasion, and Hollis moved in and put the hit on.
Well, 78 degrees at kickoff. It's cooled down a little bit, or has it?
Hello. Malloy is the tight end. Matt Malloy, who was involved with Travis Daniels, the senior quarterback. Another third down play. Third down and 5.
And get Tate out of the pocket.
They've got 8.
Here comes the zone blitz. Guaranteed a zone blitz. Look at all the bodies up around the line of scrimmage.
Had 9 guys up front trying to lob it over, but the whistle on the flag before the ball was thrown. And a procedure call coming up.
Fire the snap. False start. 70. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Now it's the LSU players trying to get their fans up with 6:20 to go. A chance to get the football back.
Is it just me, or is this the first time in today's game that LSU's had the momentum? The very first time with 6:20 left.
Yep, I agree. Last game as coach over there for the Tigers. As Saban gets ready to coach the Miami Dolphins. A job that will start immediately. But he wanted to be here for this one. Clock ticking at 6:07. A third down now, but 10 for the first down. They show blitz. Handoff coming through the middle. One tackle avoided. A great effort, but it's not going to be enough. Again, Lionel Turner moved in from that linebacker position to put the hit on Mickens, who was carrying, and this is going to bring up a 4th down.
Fool us once, but you're not going to fool us twice. This is the same play that picked up the first down earlier for Iowa, and I think this just too conservative of a call. Drew Tate can get it done with his arm. It was 3rd and a little over 10, and you're just not going to get that play a second time against this front.
Iowa wanted to get a quick kick here. Schlecker comes out. Bradley has averaged 48 yards rather here on the kicking job. Green is going to be back. Kick comes from the 25-yard line. It is a booming kick. Handled at the 20, 30, and out of bounds at the 33-yard line. One final chance after that 47-yard punt. The Tigers get the football. See that number 1 right there? That's for our crew. I tried to get a chance here in the last game that we're going to do working together. This crew is second to none. We've had the pleasure of working with them all year. To every man and woman down there in the truck and up here, thank you for a great job and a great season, and what a finish we've got here. Pass completed at the 30-yard line, 35. Taken down at the 40. Little setup on the far side to Green. And in there at quarterback continues to be Russell. Let's check in with Doc.
Guys, they have talked to Marcus Randall. The senior wants to play, but the problem is the ribs are just too painful, and we are told he just cannot get a deep breath, so he is done for the game. He will not be back in. Marcus Randall not back in the ballgame these final 4.5 minutes.
Well, right now, the way Russell is playing, you want to keep him in. As he completed that last one, it'll be a short yardage here, 2nd down and 1 from the 39-yard line. And again, going to be completed. Green out of bounds over there, and he gets into Iowa territory. Allen took him out.
Boy, has Russell gotten into a rhythm or what? Yeah. I mean, this is what all of the fans saw. He had especially the first game of the season against Oregon State. He's hit his last 5 attempts, and when he gets into a rhythm, he's as good as there is. A young man, humongous guy, 6'5", 250 pounds. And he finally found a little bit of a rhythm. Matt Flynn came in and played for a little while, but this is the guy they're going to ride to this victory if they can get it.
He played 10 games, 4 as a starter. They go to the running game at midfield, and there is none there to be had. Broussard on the carry gets taken down by Hodge. What a finish, Doc.
Guys, the last thing Nick Saban said to his LSU Tigers before he left the locker room at halftime, his last halftime, he turned to the team and said, guys, just a few minutes left in your season. Remember our tradition. We win games in the 4th quarter. Get it done today.
Well, they've been getting it done all year. 70-17 is what they've outscored their opponents in the 4th quarter this year. So they practice what they preach.
And they do have that momentum going. 2nd down and 10 ball again, 50-yard line. Again, they flare it out far side up to the 45 and a couple more yards on the second effort. I mean, crawling on that one. Joseph Adai out of the backfield. That's where they're finding room. Their receivers are taking the secondary deep and the flats are open.
Well, and the difference is now Jamarcus Russell has time to find that guy. Earlier in the game, both Marcus Randall and Matt Flynn, they didn't have time to find the swing out of the backfield because this defensive front that's starting to get a little tuckered out for Iowa, not having quite the same success. And this is not a blitzing team, but Norm Parker might want to try a blitz here.
Third down, big play, a long three. Third down and a long three. LSU's got 2 plays to get it. They're not going to punt it. Over the middle, completed right at the 40-yard line. The marking will decide the first down or not as Hodge put the hit on.
Well, I don't think he got it, but I don't think there's any question what's going to happen right here.
Doucette got it, but he couldn't even take a step before he got knocked down.
The problem, though, for Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher as offensive coordinator is the history of running in between the tackles against this front for Iowa has not been very good. However, I think they're winded, and I think you just run it right at him. Quarterback sneak, you got a 250-pound quarterback, and this front for Iowa is really starting to look tired.
Broussard, Stelz, running backs, 2:18 left to go. 4th down and 1, and they've got 2 timeouts, and Saban is ripped. Oh, are they angry on the sideline? They did not want to use that timeout. They had gotten Russell over there, told him to play they wanted, and instead had to use the timeout, and Nick Saban is furious.
Well, there was one problem with trying to run the ball on 4th and short. They were missing a 6'4", 325-pound body. Whitworth looks over and says, "Where's my buddy McGill?" And McGill didn't realize he was supposed to be in the game, but we saw earlier Will Arnold out with a hit on his ankle. I don't know what number 68 was doing, and Nick Saban beside himself with having to burn that timeout.
Whitworth stood up and looked and said, "You know, there's a lot of room between me and my next teammate here."
I'm not supposed to be next to Niswonger. I like him at all. I just don't want to stand next to him.
All right, here it is. 4th down and 1 with the ball at the 40-yard line. They've got to get a first down, LSU does, to keep their drive and hopes alive in this game. They'll go to the second man through. They've got the first down, and they got more. It'll be taken down to the 32-yard line. Broussard has done it all day. A 9-yard gain for their big bruising runner.
Well, I know that Norm Parker does not like to blitz, and that's just not what this team is made of. But right now, his defensive front, remember earlier in the game when they were just the black shirts were pushing the white shirts back? Well, that has completely changed. And when you've got Whitworth and McGill over there, almost 700 pounds of humanity, that starts to wear on you a little bit. And when this guy at 235 pounds gets going, they might have to start doing some different things.
First down and 10. Russell back looking right side. Oh, the ball was almost taken away. Throws sideline. It's caught. It's caught. There is a flag down, though, back upfield on the other side. Caught at the 14-yard line by Bo again. That ball was almost taken out of the quarterback's hands.
Offside.
The offside's against Iowa. They'll refuse it. LSU's charging.
Yeah, and I think it was Matt Roth who was charged with the offsides. Now, it looked like he timed it out right, but a good job finishing. Almost got the ball, but let's not forget how big a guy Russell is with big hands. You've got to do more than that to knock it out. But how much different has this guy looked than when he first came in? He's now 10 for 12 and 118 yards. I think things are looking pretty good for LSU next season.
Magnificent here, and a minute 34 left to go. First down and 10. Sorting things out. Russell, 18 on that last play, fakes it, looking. Green in the end zone, double team, still wants him. He's open at the back. Driven out of bounds. Incomplete. Double teamed was Skylar Green. Russell waited for him to run along the backside of the end zone. That'll stop the clock with a minute 18 left to go.
What a tremendous throw by this young quarterback. You know, if he can continue to improve and stay in this type of mindset going into spring ball, doesn't matter who the coach is going to be, this guy is going to be awfully special if he can play like this against a very good Iowa defense.
Under the pressure in the Capital One Bowl of trying to win it, he's 10 for 13, 118 yards and 1 TD, and he's the third quarterback in the game. Second down and 10. LSU with a minute 17 to try and get it into the end zone. Backside rush coming. He's carrying up to the 10-yard line.
Take a look at our Dodge defensive playbook on the 4th and very short. Earlier in the game, we saw all of this penetration. Now watch the wall that's made by this offensive line. No penetration at all by the defensive front. We got so used to seeing that through 3 quarters of play. Whitworth does a nice job. The fullback goes in there and stuffs somebody. Keith Zinger, the tight end, gets nice push. And that's easy running for Broussard. That's been the difference in the 4th quarter, is this big offensive line wearing down the Iowa defensive front.
That is the last timeout the Tigers have. The officials goes over and makes sure that Saban knows that. So they are out of timeouts. They are behind 24-19. It'll be a 3rd down and 6 coming up with the ball at the 10-yard line.
And now at some point, Iowa needs to start thinking about their 2 timeouts. Because you've got to assume if LSU scores, they're going to go for 2 to try to be up a field goal. At least that's what you should do. And if you're Kirk Ferentz, you've got to start thinking on defense. If they start trying to milk the clock a little bit here, you've got to think about using those 2 timeouts to save some for your offense.
What a football game here in Orlando in the Capital One Bowl. Iowa, as Ed noted, not only had the momentum all the way until this last couple of series, they also have had the lead. They still do at 24-19, but there's no question now they are the ones hanging on.
And Jamarcus Russell, the guy who's played lights out, coming in basically the 3rd string quarterback today, has played great. Right now, I think they need to move him, let him throw it again. He is on fire. Allow this young man to go ahead and try to win it for you.
The 1st down marker is at the 4-yard line. This is a 3rd down and 6. Looking over the middle, and it is caught, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down. And what a catch coming out of the backfield to Dye, who had 3 defenders on him. They've got to stop the clock while they spot the ball to see if it's a 1st down. I think it is. They want to bring the chains out to make sure. So the clock is stopped at 56 seconds. Yep. No, they got the 1st down. No chains. 1st down, goal to go. Ball from the 3. They'll take the snap there with no more timeouts remaining.
They just wasted a play.
Yeah.
They completely wasted a play. That is not good clock management at all.
It gains you nothing.
Yeah, you've got time to run 4 plays. Even without your timeouts, incomplete passes stopping the clock. Now you only have 3 downs. You have to score a touchdown. That was terrible clock management.
A tremendous game here at the Capital One Bowl in Orlando with the Tigers and the Hawkeyes going at it. Delighted to have you with us. The Rose Bowl is coming up next. What a lead into that game in this one. A 2nd down, goal to go from the 3-yard line. Again, Russell looking into the end zone. Green, touchdown!
They've got to settle down. I know they want to celebrate, but this is a huge 2-point conversion. With 2 timeouts and 46 seconds left, Drew Tate has all the time in the world to get down the field. Schlicker, their kicker, has kicked over 50 yards a few times this year. They need to settle down and make this 2-point conversion.
25-24 for the first time today. The Tigers have taken the lead with 46 on the clock. Skylar Green, the junior, in the end zone on the 2nd TD pass that has been thrown by Russell since coming on. The 2-point conversion attempt. 4 receivers. Russell looking. Gets the rush. He's not going to get it off. Throws it at the end, and it'll be out of bounds, and a tremendous pressure put on by Matt Roth.
Hate to go all the way back to it. You kick the PAT back in the 1st half.
And
you're up 2, then you kick another one, you're up 3. That is why you don't go for 2-point conversions until the end of the 3rd, middle of the 4th at best. And I don't mean to be nitpicky, but that was just an error at the very beginning of the game that now LSU could pay dearly, because Iowa, with 46 seconds and 2 timeouts, they've got everything they need to win this game with a field goal.
What a job Jamarcus Russell may have just created for himself a career as he came on as the 3rd quarterback. Green, his primary target. You see what they have done by quarters. This is the comeback team. The Tigers, as you heard Dr. Jerry Punch say, were reminded of that. They've got the 13 here, and they've got the 25-24 lead.
Well, and this, if it holds up, will be their 5th 4th quarter comeback of the season. It's been an unbelievable year for LSU in the fourth quarter. They did it against Oregon State, of course, got help with some missed PATs. At Florida versus Troy and Ole Miss. But this one, I saw 3 of those 4 ball games, and LSU had momentum a lot in the second half. They didn't have momentum until about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And Jamarcus Russell, lock him in as the Capital One player of the game because he has been sensational.
And they're looking to extend their win streak. The Tigers are to 7 games. Iowa, though, is not done. 46 seconds left to go. Obviously, field position vital, so you're looking for the big return. The kick will be taken at the 3-yard line. Bellis has it. He's coming straight up the middle. The 20, the 25, gets away. A couple of tacklers, and will take it down to the 30-yard line. Ronnie Prude has done a great job for the special teams today. For the Tigers, put the hit on. 39 seconds to go.
My New Year's resolution is to continually nitpick.
Oh, why not?
When they spiked the ball on that first down, we said not only waste the play, but you want the clock to run. You don't want 39 seconds on the clock. Iowa with 2 timeouts left. That was just not a good decision.
All right, Tate, who has done it all day, called on now to put a long drive together in the closing seconds. A low snap he handles. He wants deep. Gets caught by Hinkle at the 40-yard line, and it will be enough for a first down. An 11-yard gain. It'll stop the clock while they move the chains at 33 seconds. So Iowa's going, obviously, without the huddle here. They want to keep those 2 timeouts. They need to get to within field goal range. They do not need the touchdown. A field goal will do it out of the shotgun. Tate looking near side over the middle. That's going to be caught. That is not a first down. At the 49-yard line. Holloway on the reception.
You're thinking 30, 35-yard line. Kyle Schlicker, who takes over for the great Nate Kading this season, has been great.
They'll dump it right there, and a flag goes down. A lot of players were moving while that ball was snapped.
The ball was snapped before they were ready to play. Be a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Oh, that's a big mistake, and it ate the clock too.
Yep.
I think they should have taken that timeout. They should have taken that timeout.
Schlecker on the sideline. There's the field goal kicker who just grew into this season. He is a sophomore. He had 5 field goals against Minnesota on his biggest day, and he may have his biggest kick yet to come.
Yes, I would say he might.
All right, 5 yards taken off. It'll be a second down now. Second down at 16. Looking, Tate wants to go deep for the touchdown. A man open at the 20. It is caught. 10, 5, touchdown! Holloway! Oh, my! And they're on the field. The clock has expired. A 56-yard touchdown play as time expired from Drew Tate to Warren Holloway. 30-25, Iowa.
Inside receiver, he's just running a takeoff. The safety never, ever, ever gets back. And you saw Drew Tate. He saw it late, and he had to recock because he was going to come down underneath to pick up the first down. And he saw Warren Holloway running right by the safety, and a perfect throw.
A football game where the defense has dominated for 3/4 of the game suddenly became an offensive show in the fourth quarter.
Get ready for football fans all around America to know who Drew Tate is.
Wow.
This guy, a true sophomore, second-year player out of Texas, is phenomenal. What a great read by a young quarterback. And you saw him. He saw the safety get over there late. He was thinking about throwing something underneath to pick up the first, had to reset his feet, and delivered an absolute strike.
Holloway celebrating with a touchdown reception. And then the team just took the field as time expired. Let's go down with the winning coach, Doc.
What an unbelievable finish. It is mayhem on the field. Coach Ferentz, the athletic director, Bowlesby over here to give him a big hug from Bob. Coach, congratulations on a phenomenal finish here today.
Jerry, it was a great football game. Both teams just played with such great effort. Nobody gave up. One big play after another, and Yeah, we've had a little magic, certainly magic at the end.
This is never say die Iowa football. A tough beginning of the year, a lot of adversity, coming back so many times.
You know, today I think was representative of our football team. Yeah, we are not a statistic team. I said that earlier. Our guys just, they're so resilient. Yeah, we found different ways to win and different guys stepping in and helping us out. You know, how fitting for a guy like Warren Holloway to do that at the end of the game. You know, just, I can't say enough about our young people.
Coach, go celebrate. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you very much.
Wow, LSU scored with 46 seconds to go and took a 1-point lead. And then as time expired, this passed to Holloway, a senior, ended the game.
Kirk Ferentz is the National Coach of the Year, in my opinion. What this team went through, his father passed away. We told the story of Norm Parker's son passing away, all of the injuries that they went through. Brian Ferentz, his son, nearly had to have his leg amputated during the offseason. 3 years in a row with 10 wins. Unbelievable.
Magnificent performance. Our final score, Iowa wins at 30-25. ABC is online, ESPN.com. The Rose Bowl game is next. For Ed Cunningham, Dr. Jerry Punch, and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. We hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Happy New Year, everybody, and congratulations, Iowa.